And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Thank you for being here tonight. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me, and I most certainly appreciate y'all for that. There's a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, and of course, in the street. The main thing, of course, is still this China virus, the CCP virus, the Wuhan virus, the Wu flu, the Kung flu, all that stuff. This virus has somehow been successful at convincing people that your rights don't mean anything. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, don't worry about that. Freedom of assembly, don't worry about that. Because your safety is most important, right? How many Americans have died since this whole thing started? Because remember, this was a concern back in January when Trump restricted travel from the Chinese continent. Before that, they were still able to come over here. And do you know how many Chinese nationals come to the United States every day? Imagine how many came here before the travel shutdown that had the virus and that potentially gave it to other people before there was any real definition for what the virus was, any testing or anything else. The numbers keep going up because the testing keeps going up. Is it because it's just spreading like wildfire or what? There's a whole lot going on. Andrew Gillum, the insider trading kerfuffle, Tulsi Gabbard, and more. We'll talk about all of that on today's episode of ABL Live. And again, I thank y'all for joining. I most certainly appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the world, but I'm glad you have chosen to be right here with me for 100% sure. Thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you guys. If you like the content, please hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on audio streaming platform, thank you for joining. Share it if you can. Do whatever you can over there to help the show get a little bit more notoriety, whether you're on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google, wherever you are. Thank you for watching and share it over there as well. Shout out to Golden State Times. I see you in the chat, boss. 100%. To speak about people that may have had the flu, I see people in the chat saying, you know, I may have had the Hong Kong flu or I may have had the Kung flu. There were some people back in January, maybe even December, that were saying they had a thing that was similar to the CCP virus, you know, Chinese Communist Party virus. You understand? All the same symptoms, and it was undiagnosable. They said it wasn't the flu, and the doctors didn't know what it was. They just said, okay, respiratory illness, we don't really know what this is. Take some ibuprofen or whatever and kick rocks, basically. That's what was said. But now all of a sudden it has a name, COVID-19. And by the way, COVID is an acronym, coronavirus disease. But that's a different story, and I digress. COVID-19, coronavirus, all these other names, it doesn't really matter. I think the main thing we got to know is that it came from China. They did not do their part to stop the flow of the virus and just kind of let it rock. They let it rip. And then they wanted to stop it at a certain point when it was already too late. So now, as a result, you have economies all over the planet collapsing. I think the reaction is way too much. You know, people are going to get sick and they're going to pass. It's unfortunate, but that's part of life. It is what it is. It's the same thing with the flu. Nobody stops the world because of the flu. 80,000, 80,000 Americans died in 2018's winter season, 2017-2018 winter season, just in the U.S. alone. So from the flu. So it's like, okay, what are we really doing here? Where is the concern for the flu? Oh, there's a vaccine that's 40% effective. Okay. So you got 60% of people that are going to catch it and they may pass away as a result. Do we just shut down the entire world because of that? That's not really the appropriate. That's not the appropriate measure, in my humble opinion. Now we have a thing that's happening with the governors and or mayors in certain places shutting down everything. I think Gavin Newsom over there in California, the governor, shut down the whole state. So if you are not essential personnel, then you can't even leave your house except for essential things. So unless you're a police officer, firefighter, healthcare worker or grocery store or something like that, essential, you have to stay at home. How many people have to go to work? See, essential, define essential. What does that really mean? Essential to who? Essential to other people or to my kids, to myself, to my family? Define essential. If you are the sole breadwinner, you got a wife and 5 kids, and you cannot go to work because the governor says you can't leave your house, then what are you to do? You are essential to your household, but I guess not to the greater population. So your needs don't really make a difference. What are we talking about here? I understand the need and the desire to, stem the tide of the virus. But I mean, the stimulus package and whatnot Trump is talking about is okay, but that's not really going to cut it, because if you lose your job, are you going to be able to get it back? If you lose your job, can you get back the money that you made that you need? You might make $5-6 grand a month, and you're out for a couple months or more. That's what, 12 grand on the high, 10 grand. What's 2 grand or 4 grand going to do for you? You're not, and then on top of that, you're behind on your bills. You got late fees and everything else. It's like the virus will do less damage than the reaction to the virus. The death toll is going to be low. Every time there's a new death number in the U.S., there's also a decrease in the death rate because you have more people that have been tested. We don't know who all has the virus. There could be many more out there with the virus, but we don't know because not everybody's been tested. People talking about, the death rate's like between 3 and 7%. That's a very big number right there. It's a very big margin, 3 and 7. So it could be 3% or more than double, but I digress. The point is that it says between 3 and 7% death rate. But now you have numbers coming out based upon those that have been tested and those that have died. It says it's like 1.8, 1.5 or less. And that number will go down as we get more tested. And I've been saying that from the beginning. People trying to tell me, the death rate's 8%. How do you know that? Not everybody's been tested. We don't know what the number is until we get a greater grasp on what's happening. And the Chinese Communist Party are not handing over the appropriate documentation, and they're hiding stuff. They're relying on their state media. And people over here, some of our quote unquote reliable sources in the USA, like your CNN, MSNBS, and more, they are pretty much echoing whatever the Chinese Communist Party say and having that be what they feed to the American media rather than the truth, rather than trying to search for the actual situation. They're just making us panic, going out here and buying a bunch of paper towels, toilet paper, and everything else. But it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, we might all get it. What's that? Garchomp 301. That might happen. But the thing is, most people are going to be just fine. Just like everybody might get the cold. The common cold, that's also a coronavirus. The cold is a coronavirus. So is SARS and MERS. And then this whole thing about racism by calling it the Chinese virus or the Wu flu or whatever. Even people in China are petitioning the White House now, to call it the CCP virus, because they understand that the Chinese Communist Party, their government, have not only endangered Americans, but they've also endangered the Chinese. Because let's not forget, most of the deaths happened in mainland China. Okay, some may say it's a bioweapon. That's possible. They could have been developing a bioweapon to use against us, but accidentally leaked it and killed some of their own people. Or maybe the plan was to kill a lot of their people right there in Wuhan as a sacrifice to try and hide the fact that they were trying to hurt us and drive the economy down, drive the market down, so then they could come in and buy shares or whatever they want to do, try to do some corporate takeover type stuff. Not sure if they can do that, but that could be a reason why they want to do something like this, to hurt us as part of the trade war. That might be kind of a far-fetched thing, but I wouldn't put it past the Chinese Communist Party. It is what it is. Matter of fact, here's the petition, if I can pull it up on my screen. Matter of fact, give me 1 second here, and I'll pull that right on up. There we go. So let's translate it right here. It says, "Comrade, stand up and act." And I can't read that right there, of course. But let's go to the site, and it says, "Let's start calling the novel coronavirus the CCP virus." And it reads right here, "President Trump is correct to attribute the origin of the novel coronavirus pandemic to China. Looking more closely, it's China's ruling Communist Party, CCP, that has sickened Chinese people." That's correct. Like I said, most of the deaths were in mainland China. And by extension, the world. It's a totalitarian nature and callous dishonesty of the Chinese Communist Party that has brought about this public health catastrophe. The novel coronavirus should therefore be called the CCP virus to accurately reflect its origin. Let's start with pinpointing the root cause of the suffering we have seen. Let's start calling the novel coronavirus the CCP virus. I'm with it 1,000%. Okay. It has about 6,000 and change signatures on it. I'll put this link in the description, not in the description, pardon me, in the chat box. So if you want to sign it, you can. 100%. Yeah, call it the CCPV. How about that? Just like MERS or SARS, call it CCPV. All right, there it is. But yeah, that's what's going on. And the whole world, back to the shutdown. Gavin Newsom talking about shelter in place. And if I hear these phrases one more time, I'm going to snap. Shelter in place, flatten the curve, stay inside, stay in. What else? It's racist to call the China virus the China virus. Like those phrases I hear so much, I'm sick of it. I am tired of it. I had enough. I'm done. And personally, I can be fine. Like, I'm prepared. I got food in here. We have food in here. I got my guns. I got my ammo. I work from right here in my house, so I'm fine. But I am thinking about the American people. See, it ain't about me. It's about everybody. And really, I'm not going to be fine if this continues, because people are going to be really hungry. People are going to be starving. That's going to create a serious problem. And I want to leave my house sometimes and go out and do things. And I can't do that if you can't even leave your house. I don't want to have to be in a situation where I got police outside my neighborhood blocking it off because they don't want me to leave. That's what happened in China, where they were. Oh, yeah, that's another one, GVK. Social distancing. Oh, my goodness. If I hear that one more time, I'm done. I don't want to hear that no more. But I don't want to have a situation where the police are blocking off the streets in my neighborhood because they won't let me come outside. I do not want to see that at all. No more. Period. It's simple. Let me see. Letter 2 says, France's health minister tweeted that taking anti-inflammatory ibuprofen medicine could be an aggravating factor for those affected with COVID-19 and recommended paracetamol for those with a fever. Okay. Now, there's another drug that's out there, and I cannot pronounce it. Hydro something. I don't know. Hydro something. China Hydro. How about that? Some kind of drug that's supposed to be effective against it. I think we're very close to effective drugs that work against this particular virus. Oh, one thing I saw from the media, and I think Trump Jr. retweeted it. If I could find it, let me pull it up right quick. The media are trying to attack the drug that Trump said could work. Okay, matter of fact, here it is. Now, they're saying that drug touted by Trump to possibly treat virus can kill in just 2 grams. Now, I mean, 2 grams of a lot of things can kill you. That doesn't mean that it's not a good medicine to use. I mean, they literally in a hospital use heroin to treat pain. Call it morphine. It's heroin. It's an opiate. They use that to treat pain. In a hospital right now, you can go get some type of surgery, your mouth, your jaw, your knee, whatever. They give you morphine to numb the pain. That's literally heroin. But Trump's talking about a drug that is used in medical applications already, and they want to say it can kill you in 2 grams. I mean, if that ain't fear mongering, if that ain't hate, if that ain't salt, I don't know what is. And it's not necessary right now to do that because people are starting to get tired of it. It's like, all right, I've had enough. I don't want to see you keep pushing out fear like this. Tell me something that actually makes sense. Give me some hope. Give me a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give me this doom and gloom type thing. Okay. Let me see. Bob, you got a whole lot of B's and O's in your name. Bob says, hey, ABL, you think this will cost Trump the re-election? I don't think so. I think that if anything, it'll make him look stronger because look at who he's running against. Joe Biden has not even been seen. Okay, you want a guy that's going to be out there talking to the people, speaking about this whole thing. Joe Biden's trying to not catch the coronavirus. If he catches it, it's going to be a wrap. He's not even in good health now. So if he catches the coronavirus, I mean, good night. And I don't want that to happen to the man. God protect him. I don't want to see nothing happen. But he's hiding away to not get sick. So a guy like that will not be a good leader and will not be somebody that people go out there and rush to go vote for. So I think people will rally around him, especially when they see that the death toll is going to be very low. When this is all said and done, maybe you have 1,000 to 2,000 deaths in the U.S. Maybe 2,000, but maybe not, probably like 1,000 or less, which was much less than what was that? H1N1, if I'm not mistaken, under Barack Obama, 12,500 deaths or more, under that. And there was no kind of precaution taken, just let people travel, do whatever they want to do. And that many passed away before there was a vaccine or any kind of way to prevent it from going forward. So I think that in retrospect, Obama, his administration may have not handled it as well as Trump is doing, although some are going to not like the draconian measure, people losing their job. But at the same time, they'll like the fact that people did not have to pass away as much as previous administrations. And plus, when it's all said and done, I predict there's going to be a big rally in the market and jobs are going to come back because the economy was not doing poorly before this whole thing happened. The economy was doing very well. The problem is that this whole virus happened and it threw everything out of whack. They're talking about Kelly Loeffler. They brought up a video of her right after the meeting. They're talking about the virus, and she was saying that Trump is doing very well and the economy is strong and it will be able to withstand this particular thing. And they're saying, oh, since you were in the meeting, you shouldn't have said that because you knew it was going to be a disaster. She didn't know it was going to be a disaster. Nobody was going to be this. Nobody knew we'd be right here right now. Nobody could have predicted that we shut down the whole country, maybe even the whole world because of the virus. The most you could say is that, okay, you're going to have a decrease in outdoor traffic. You're going to have a decrease in flights. Nobody thought that it'd be a shelter in place order in certain states. Nobody thought that all the things we're doing right now would be happening. Like, did you predict that there was going to be a toilet paper run, that you couldn't even go to the store and get some bathroom tissue? Was that your prediction? I don't think we really could predict what was going to happen, but it is what it is. But shout out to everybody for not Cynthia Lauper, Kelly Loeffler, the senator from Georgia. All right. Yeah, I agree with you, Melvin. The longer this goes on, the longer it will take to bounce back. I agree. We need to go ahead and get this done like now. Hopefully, like this coming up week, this Sunday, it's over. That's what I want to happen. And it's starting to get warmer. People are going to be outside more. Hopefully, that is what brings this whole thing to a close. As the deaths start to die down, it's like right around 200 right now. If it plateaus at like 200, 215, 220, 230, 250, something like that, I think we'll start to loosen up. Some of the states will loosen up and get everybody back to doing what they do. I'm already seeing traffic start to pick up. People have had enough of this. After less than a week, it's pretty much a wrap in people's minds. They don't want to have the social distancing and all that kind of crap. They're trying to go back to work. They're trying to get back to making money. They don't want to have this thing continue to ruin their life or rule their life. Like I said, at a certain point, you got to have freedom of assembly, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You got to have that. And if you can't, then it's like, what are we doing here? Do we have a constitution or not? Do we have rights in this country or not? Let me see. Ishay T says, did I read about Politico reporting that the DOJ requested to make indefinite detention arrest without due process? I did not see that. Now, was it a request to do it, or was it how can I say, was it an inquiry into if they could do it or not legally? I need to read that article, but thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. Sanchez says, well, 10 more days. Yeah, 10 more days, it'll be pretty much a wrap. In 10 days, nobody will be following this shelter in place thing. The police aren't even really going to be able to enforce it. I don't think they are going to want to enforce it. This is going to be an interesting test to see how much power the government has over us, including those that are in law enforcement, because they're also employees of the government. Are they going to just do what the government says and force us to stay in their homes, or are they going to let up and just have things go back to normal to a certain degree? I think that might be what happens in a very short period of time. People can't live like this. The economy can't survive like this. It's simple. We can't be so afraid of death that we don't live our life. Simple. Alrighty. So people were losing their job. And my thing is, people are saying that the economy might come back, but if you lost your job and the company went bankrupt, can they come back from bankruptcy? Can they come back from permanently being closed? They need money consistently every day to keep it afloat. If they get so low and they hemorrhage so much money, at a certain point, it can't be replaced. You can't make those days up. You lose in real time. Time is the most valuable thing you can never buy. It don't matter how much money you got. You cannot buy 1 second of time. And these companies that are people, front facing, they got to have all the time used as efficiently as possible to make their money, to stay afloat, to be able to make payroll, that kind of stuff. And if they can't do that for a month, 2 months, it's too much to bear at a particular point in time. It's just too much. They got loans out here and all kind of stuff going on. People don't quite understand the way that the economy works and the way business works sometimes, that believe that all companies are able to just bounce back instantly. Some are going to be able to bounce back. Some are not necessarily dependent upon money coming in every day from, being front facing, but some do. So what are you going to do about that? I'm not really sure. All right. Now, does somebody ask me if I have self-discipline? Of course, I'm very disciplined. I'm talking about I'm talking about like a monk discipline. It's not even the game. I'm the most disciplined and calm person you ever met in your life. And that's word on everything. Alrighty. But thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, hit the like button, share the video as well. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that for me. That'll make my day. That'll put a smile on my face. Go ahead and subscribe for me. And also, if you're listening on an audio streaming platform, thank you for doing that. I most certainly appreciate you. The grocery stores over here, Rapper 10,000, they're pretty good. I was in the store the other day and it was fine. There were a couple of empty shelves, but not like totally. It wasn't like one whole side was empty and you couldn't get what you needed. Some of the dumbest things were gone, like milk and bread. It's like, why would you buy that? That's the worst thing they get right now. Those things go, you buy the thing that goes bad the fastest. I mean, get a cake or something. That'll last you longer than a piece of bread. You understand? The bread would be gone in a matter of what, 2 or 3 days, 4 days. The milk, same thing. You need to get canned goods, non-perishable items, Vienna sausages, Spam, water, that type of thing. Not milk and bread. So the things I was wanting to get, I was able to get with no problem. And there's plenty of stores all over here. You got Publix and like a Food Line type spot and like a specialty health food store. It's like 4 or 5 stores right around this area I can go to. So it's no problem. I don't live in the food desert type situation at all. Not in the least bit. Alrighty. But what else? We got a whole lot going on here. Oh, my man, Andrew Gillum. Did you guys see the update on Andrew Gillum? Now, you guys know Andrew Gillum at one point was trying to become governor of Florida and almost made it. He was within 1 point of beating the current governor, Ron DeSantis, the Republican. But Gillum decided to go have a little party in a hotel in Miami. Now, Andrew Gillum was the mayor of Tallahassee. But somehow, some way, he was in Miami and had a house down there, but he was at a hotel talking about, oh, I'm in town for a wedding. Okay, it's a lot of things wrong with that. You're in Miami for a wedding. It's a Thursday night, 1 o'clock in the morning. You're in a hotel room with a couple of boys, a couple of dudes, men, not little kids, but men. You understand what I'm saying? But gay men, or at least one gay male. What are you doing there? And then inside the room, you got drugs, pills. You're in there banging needles with all types of other stuff that you shouldn't be having. What are you doing there, sir? And then, of course, pictures came out, and I did a video on that. If you want to see those pictures, I got them in the description box. It's a link to the Daily Mail article. This man's butt naked. I'm talking about birthday suit, all that. On the floor, laying on the side. It's a pillow right here with, it appears to be vomit on it. So you're laying in your own vomit, you're butt naked, but you want to tell me that you're in town for a wedding and you just hanging out with friends? Really? Is that how we hang out with friends? We get butt naked and get drunk and throw up with meth everywhere, with pills everywhere, with needles everywhere? Is that how we have a little visit with our friends? I don't do that. When I visit friends, we just, hanging out, chilling, watching the game. I ain't taking my pants off. I'm sorry. I'm not taking my pants off to come visit my friend. That's not how I operate, but I digress. The point is that he said that he was in town to visit a friend and go to a wedding, but somehow when he got caught in the room with the drugs and the pills and the boy, he went home. So where do you live at, sir? Do you live in Tallahassee, which is not anywhere close to Miami? Tallahassee, that's on the panhandle. You like close to Georgia, Alabama. You're not far from where I'm at in Tennessee, basically, probably a few hours away. But Miami, you got to go on a plane to go there from where I'm at. That's far. That's like in Cuba, basically. You're basically in the Caribbean. That's far away. Do you have a house in Miami? If you have a house in Miami, then why'd you have to stay in the hotel for a quote-unquote wedding? And then the guy that he was in the hotel with is a male prostitute that you can buy online on one of these little, I'm not sure, like a Backpage type site. Anyway, he says, well, I've known him for a long time. I ain't know anything about no wedding. I was not privy to a wedding. So who's getting married? You and the boy in the room? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, that's come out. It's all online for the world to see. I'm worried about his wife. He has a wife and 3 kids. He was not openly gay or anything like that. As far as I knew, he was a straight family man, but apparently not. So if you're in the room with all types of drugs and drinking and everything else, I'm thinking HIV is possible, and that's not safe for your wife. Like, what are you doing? He went to rehab after the whole thing happened, before the pictures came out, talking about, well, you got to battle addiction properly, and I want to get it together. He went to rehab to hide from the media, because when the pictures came out, when all the details came out, it'd be too much for him to bear. So he hid away from the media by going to the rehab facility. That's what happened, in my humble opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I highly doubt it. I think he's finished. You can't be trying to run for governor, have been the mayor of Tallahassee, be like this public figure and get caught with your pants down, literally. You can't do that. So I think Andrew Gillum is pretty much a wrap. 100%. Was he legal? I don't know, Bitcoin. He was a white male, but he could have been Cuban or something like that. So I don't know if he was legal or not. But he was most certainly a white male. And Andrew Gillum was the guy talking about how racist Trump is, all that and the third, would be on CNN talking about racist this and racist that. Apparently, Andrew Gillum does not really buy into this whole thing about white people being racist, because he literally had this crazy time in the hotel room with the white man. Skinhead at that. You in there with the skinhead. So it's always like that. People talk about all this racism and white supremacy be the main ones laid up with Mein Kampf over there. You understand what I'm saying? Looking like the main character from Doom. You dig what I'm saying? It's always like that. So when I saw the guy, I'm like, not surprised. Not surprised at all. This is typical. Anytime I see anything like a person trying to attack a different race, I always know that it's all BS. This is just their insecurity on the inside coming out. All right. It's always Ilhan Omar, another one. When somebody asked, should we be looking at Muslims are coming to the country for any kind of terrorism and whatnot. A valid question. And she's like, well, we got to watch these white men because they're more dangerous. Meanwhile, you having a whole affair with this white man that's married by the name of Tim Minette, and you're running campaign money through him. Talking about we're not having an affair, get out of my personal life. But then you post this guy on Instagram. So not only did you lie about not having an affair, you also brought us into your personal life. But I'll move on. Thank y'all for being here. Most certainly appreciate you. If you like what you heard, please hit the like button. That'll help me out tremendously. And what else we got going on? Oh, Tulsi Gabbard. Now, Tulsi Gabbard went ahead and dropped out of the race. Are you surprised that she dropped out and then supported Joe Biden? Some said that, hold on. Tony Smith said, was he being considered for vice president? I was hearing about Gillum possibly maybe being in the running for vice president. I think I heard that, but I'm not really sure if that was a thing. Barack Obama came out there and supported Andrew Gillum on the campaign trail when Gillum was running to become the governor of Florida. So, I mean, you got that kind of cachet to be able to get Obama to come in. Your name's ringing bells. You're a rising star in the Democratic Party. So he could have been a VP pick. That's possible. But what was I saying? Oh, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard dropped out finally. Not sure why she took so long to drop out because it was no real clear path forward. And that was known like 3 months ago, basically. She's not going to any more debates, and it was pretty much over like December, November anyway. She went ahead and dropped out, and she supports Joe Biden. Now, I thought Tulsi Gabbard was somebody that, was, how can I say, like nonpartisan and more of a moderate and not really establishment. And, she was one of the same Democrats. How is Tulsi Gabbard different than any other Democrat that's out there? She's the same. It's just like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders purports himself to be so different and radical. And in some ways he is with the whole monetary thing he's on. Give everybody everything in the world like your granddad that wants to spoil you. He's like that. But when it boils down to it, he'll support the Democratic establishment with no problem. In 2016, that's what happened. He's trying to go against Hillary Clinton, talking about how corrupt the DNC is, which it is, talking about how bad the establishment is, which it is. You say all that, but then you go and support the establishment. So what are we really doing? You're doing the exact same thing you said that you wouldn't do. I'm not really sure what's going on. But anyway, Tulsi Gabbard purports herself to be similar to what Bernie was in 2016, the anti-establishment pick, but then drops out and goes ahead and supports Joe Biden, the establishment. Now, it'd be hilarious if Joe Biden picks Tulsi Gabbard to be his VP. That'd just put the cherry on top for me. I won't be no more good. That'd just be hilarious. But I think that Joe Biden's talking about Keisha Lance Bottoms to become the VP pick. Keisha Lance Bottoms is the mayor of Atlanta, black woman, Democrat, of course. That could happen. He may try to use the whole black woman card to, it's two boxes you tick. Minority, race-wise, check. Minority, gender-wise, check. You're just trying to check those two boxes. That could be the case of Tulsi Gabbard as well, but she's not necessarily as ethnically obvious as Keisha Lance Bottoms is. That's the truth. It's sad that we've gotten to the point in the Democratic Party where it's all about identity. You can't even get picked to be a VP unless you are a particular race, a particular gender orientation, or whatever it is. It's a mess, but it is what it is. Hey, Gabby, I've not seen Biden at all. I don't know where Biden is. Like I said, I think he's hiding away from the coronavirus. People were asking me earlier, do I think that the virus situation will hurt Trump and the re-election? I'm like, no, because Biden is nowhere to be found. Trump is on the front line every day doing the briefing about the virus. Every single day, he's taking the thing and leading it. Even CNN, who was that? I think Dana Bash, somebody on CNN, praised him for what he was doing. I think even Morning Joe, he's getting bipartisan support from the media. He'll get support from the Democrats on a thing before the media that's leftists who give him support. He's getting bipartisan media support on the whole situation. So I don't think that anybody's able to beat that. But Biden is nowhere to be found. He's in the cave somewhere hanging out with Hunter Biden, getting taught to frame it, but I'll move on. So he's pretty much nowhere. In the bubble, Michelle A says, Biden's new bubble boy, hilarious. Yeah, he's in a bubble somewhere in the basement, not knowing where he's supposed to be going. Really, truthfully, Biden should drop out. That'd be kind of like unprecedented to have the front runner or the presumptive front runner go ahead and just drop out of the race right now. Bernie wants out too. Bernie already said, look, if Biden gets the plurality of the votes, even if he doesn't get the nomination outright, I'll go ahead and drop out and let him get it. So he doesn't win the fight. He doesn't really want it. He wants out as well. I mean, I can't blame him. You're 78 years old and had a heart attack. I mean, how much more can you actually do at the rate that you're doing it? I'm not really sure. Biden's the same way. I mean, Biden doesn't know where he's at half the time. I saw him give some kind of talk. At the end of the talk, he was looking so confused, like, where am I? Please come save me. So they both really shouldn't be running for president. It's weird how the young people and the more quote unquote diverse people had no real chance. Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard. It's like they got edge. They got totally ignored. I think Edge did well in Iowa, and that was all she wrote right there. That was pretty much it. The establishment has been overwhelmingly favored versus the newcomers. So I'm seeing the weird disconnection between what the Democratic Party is talking about, what they're trying to push, and what the people are actually wanting. The Democratic Party say we're younger, we're more enthusiastic, we're the party of young people, this, that, and the third. But you got a 77-year-old man who is pre-dementia or currently in dementia, and a 78-year-old man who had a heart attack recently. So I don't understand where the diversity is and where the youth is and where the energy is. It appears as if the people want one thing and the Democratic Party think they are different than what the media, than what the people want. It's weird. I hear you, Colette. You want to go back to work? I'm right there with you. I want you to go back to work too. I want everybody to go back to work. I want everybody to resume life as normal. I really do want that for everybody. So hopefully this whole virus thing is over sooner than later. I think once the drug comes out and it's effective, it'll be over. I'm talking about overnight. If they come out on TV and say, okay, the clinical trials are over, it works very well, the drug is effective, go back to your daily life. Now, if they say it's going to be a vaccine that's available, you can get it for free at Rite Aid, CVS, or whatever, are you going to go get it? Everybody in the chat. That's a question for everybody in the chat. Do you want the coronavirus vaccine? That's a yay or nay. Personally, I think that I'm good money. I don't really want that. I don't want that. I'm good. Thank you, but no thank you. Because I don't really know what the vaccine is going to do to me, what the side effects of that are going to be. So I'm good. Matter of fact, can I do a poll right here? I don't think I can. But yeah, I'm good money. I don't want the vaccine. I'll take my chances the same way I have been. And I'm a hygienic person anyway, so I don't really need anything else to protect myself. I think I'm good. I'm good to go, and that's pretty much that. You know? Everybody says no. Everybody says no. I'm right there with you. I hear you. I think I'm good as well. I don't need the vaccine. I don't want the vaccine, so I'm perfectly fine. 1,000%. Yeah, but we'll see what happens coming up here pretty soon. If there's a drug that's effective in clinical trial, they'll ease up on the quarantine thing. And I think there still may be kind of a delay from people wanting to go back to work and doing different things. I think companies will say, come on back to work. And when that happens, everybody come back to work because, you know, people they got to get paid. They got to get their money. And that's pretty much what it is. Everybody says nay. I don't see anybody saying yay on that one. I don't see that at all. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll do the poll on Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, build the system with honey and ginger, your immune system, absolutely, Chin, 100%. See, ginger, I was on ginger already. I like back in the day, if I get some kind of tickle in my throat, I would just get some raw ginger root, cut it up, and eat it without cooking it or nothing. Just eat the raw root straight on. Maybe I peel the skin off and just eat the root, and it would whatever I got going on, it'll calm it down, 100%. Tested on liberals first, hilarious. Yeah, heat will kill the virus. It's the same thing as everybody else. It's the same thing as every other, not everybody else, every other virus like this. The heat will do a lot to it. This is why you don't really catch colds like that in the summertime. And by the way, like I said earlier, the common cold is a coronavirus. Coronavirus refers to a family of viruses. It does not refer to one virus itself. Coronaviruses also include SARS and MERS. And this new one, COVID-19 is an acronym for Corona, C-O, virus, V-I, disease, D. The 19, I don't know where it comes from, but I'll move on. Tony Smith says, why do I think Bill Gates stepped down? I'm not really sure. A lot of CEOs have been stepping down from their position, but I'm not really sure why that is. People are saying that it could be connected to the coronavirus thing, but I don't really know how it's connected or what the situation is. That's an interesting question, but I don't know what the answer is or the significance of it. But thank you for your donation, man. I definitely appreciate you. And shout out to everybody that has super chatted so far. We got quite a few. I'm going to read those right quick, and then I'm going to keep on rocking. 64 Pink 256 says, play Mobsters Players Revenge on Apple, Android, or Facebook. Thanks, ABL. No problem. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to No Diggity, No Doubt, who says, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. That's a very good quote. I've been seeing that a lot all over the internet lately, and I think you're right on point. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Calvin Pro 1 or PRO1 who says, how long till it blows over? I'm talking about until we get a grip and resume our normal lives, weeks, months. That's a good question. I think within the next 2 weeks, it'll come back to normal. I think this coming up week will be a big test to see if Americans are going to put up with it. I expect protests to happen at a certain point if we don't get back to normal. And we can't, it's not sustainable for an extended period of time. We need to get back to normal. Anthony Fauci is talking about, well, we can't just let it rip. We got to do the social distancing. We got to do the self-quarantining. That's fine and everything. You can say that from your position. You can do whatever you want and still make money, still get paid. You pretty much set for your life because you're a guy that has money. But regular people, they can't live this way. Not just because of money, but because of your mental health and everything else. You got to get back to normal life. You understand? So I think next week, like I'm talking about tomorrow and that week, will be a big test. And I don't think we'll make it through that week without just getting back to normal life. Today, I was outside seeing an uptick in the traffic. So I think by this time next week, it'll be like 75% back to normal all over the United States. That's my opinion. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. Thank you to Jonestown Autopsy who says, because of the toilet paper hoarders, I had to buy a box of oven mitts. Stop it. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Jonestown Autopsy again who says, hats off to POTUS for putting in that work. Word. I'm right there with you, man. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Miriam Vidal who says, people going crazy getting tested. What's the point? You could be fine 1 minute and exposed the next. Don't bother unless you're sick. Exactly. Very good. Thank you for your donation. I think what's happening is that people are scared and they want to know if they're positive. It's like if you got some kind of STD or you might have it, it's all I got to get tested. But that's not what's happening right here. People are just afraid. Shout out to William Garcia who says, hydroxychloroquine or queen for the win. Only milligrams of opioids will kill someone, but they won't talk about that. Exactly. And they give that to you in the hospital legally for pain. Exactly. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Because what he's talking about is MSN put out an article on their Twitter talking about Trump touts a drug to treat the coronavirus that can kill you with 2 grams. It's like, come on. It's a lot of drugs out there that are legal that can kill you with 2 grams. 2 grams is a lot when you're talking about a drug. you ain't gonna take 2 grams of a particular thing and just scarf it down. You take the appropriate dose so you don't overdose. But I'll move on. Thank you to Errol Burns Marsh, who says it does not matter how many people die. It's more important that people don't be racist. Signed, Ted from West LA. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Wayman Brown for your donation. Definitely appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Ryan K. Miles, who says 70% of deaths are men, so women and trans women are safe. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Jessica Dahman, who says, did you see that some people are saying Andrew Gillum could have been set up? I've been seeing that a lot, and I addressed that in my video, too. It's like, okay, how did you get set up, sir? First of all, you are a guy that lives in Tallahassee, Florida, correct? So, number one, why are you in Miami? Number two, how did you get to the hotel room at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday? Were you there for a wedding? I don't think so. Okay, who purchased this man off of this escort website? How did you get in the room with him? Let's say he was drugged. Okay, who drugged you into the room? Who drugged your pants off and made you butt naked in the hotel, Andrew Gillum? I don't really understand. So the whole setup thing is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Gillum did not get set up. He set himself up for a night of partying, drinking, drugging, and everything else. But I'll move on. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Chris DeVries, who says, or DeVries, hopefully I ain't butcher your name, who says, I've been watching you for years. It's about time I show support. Hey, thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you for your long-time support. You know, it means the world to me. And thank you for your donation as well. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Tony Smith, who says, oh, already read that one. Thank you to AAC, who says, I can tell you in 25 days' time, your thought will be, are they infected? You will be infected within 90 days. Tell people how many recover in your area, country. I'll be fine. You're fear-mongering, sir, or ma'am. I'm on some of your gender. Thank you for the donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Max Dominguez, who says, thank you, ABL, for all you do. Thank you for that. I most certainly appreciate you. I got a gnat in here. I got to kill it. Shout out to Bill Cowell, who says, good job, ABL, expose the truth. Oh, that's my job, man. Will do. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Hold on. Let me get this gnat. I get it? No, I didn't. Oh, well. Thank you to First Fire 508, who says, paperless ballots coming, ABL. I saw that. Hillary Clinton is talking about everything. No, not paperless. She wants everything to be mail-in. So who wants it to be like electronic only on your phone? I mean, like that can't be hacked. Do you trust electronic only voting? I'm not really sure. Voting where you don't even go to the poll, I don't know if I trust that too much. We know these things can be hacked pretty easily. Give me the regular ballot that you go into the poll and slide it in a little box and have that be that. Because if in the event there's some kind of discrepancy, we can just count them physically by hand and there can be oversight. Where's the oversight in the app? I don't really know. Maybe they could do blockchain or something like that. That's a different story, but we'll move on. Shout out to Vincent Mictow, who says, I haven't gotten a single cold since I got cancer a year ago. Must be all this vitamin C I'm taking. Liposomal C. Maybe it will help the corona. Hey, that's possible, man. Tell the president, man. Hey, I'm being serious. Tell somebody what you going through, and hopefully everything is all right, man. Hopefully you recover. But tell them what you're going through. Tell them what you're taking, and maybe it could help, man. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you, and get well soon for sure. Thank you to Valerie Rogers, who says tonic water has Q9 in it. I know I butchered that, but thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Stephen Kemp, who says Biden's cabinet, Stacey Abrams, you mean M1 Abrams tank, Vice President Kamala Harris, Attorney General Pete Buttigieg, Secretary of Defense Amy Klobuchar, Secretary of State. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you 100%. And thank y'all for being here as well. You guys are great. Now, the insider trading thing, have you guys seen the insider trading kerfuffle? Do you think that they are guilty of insider trading or not? My view on it is, in the case of Burr, you got to be able to prove that he traded his stock based upon info that the general public could not get. One thing about trading stock, a lot of it, you can just watch the news. You can watch Jim Cramer, and he'll give you some information about what's going on just from observing what's happening around you. If you see that in China, there's some kind of situation happening with a crazy illness, and you know at the time people are still flying from China to the U.S., at a certain point, the virus could come over here and infect us and make us be in a bad spot. You're not going to be able to come outside. Hotels, restaurants, car washes, they're going to start to close down or reduce in business. You can predict that there's going to be a drop in your stock if you have stock in that. You can predict that some medical stocks will go up as a result because there's going to be more of a demand for the medical treatment. So is it insider trading to dump stocks in that? And if you have a blind trust, the blind trust is not operated by you. It's operated by a third party that you cannot contact. If you contact a third party blind trust and say, trade this, trade that, that's right there. That's illegal. You can't do that. You can go to jail for that. That's called insider trading. Congress people in the Senate, House, the president, they have to do income disclosure, which also includes their stock transactions. It's public information. You can go find it right now. And if you can't see it right now, you could do a FOIA act and get it sent to you. That's how they were able to find the Gillum butt naked pictures, through a FOIA act, Freedom Information Act. You can find that right now online. So if the information is public and you have a blind trust, where is the insider trading at? I don't really know. But I understand it can be, the optics look very bad, yes, but the legality, from a legality point of view, is it illegal? That's what we got to talk about, really. Okay, hey, matter of fact, investigate everybody, and I guarantee you right here, investigate Burr, investigate Loeffler, Feinstein, and Inhofe, you won't find anything because there's already a law and guidelines they got to follow already. So the only question would be, did they follow the guidelines in the law? And before Obama in 2012, you could trade based upon classified information and it wasn't no problem. But in order to do that now, you'll be subject to scrutiny because your trades are public. You got to post it publicly. You got to release a form that the whole world can see. I can see that right now. So yeah, it's kind of hard to do insider trading when you have to have all your moves available for the whole world to see. It is what it is. Right. Investigate the Clintons. How about that? Investigate them. Don't investigate people talking about stocks. And my thing is, you know, if you dump stocks, I mean, did you benefit necessarily? I mean, you didn't lose money. That's good. But did you make money? You understand what I'm saying? You just avoided the pitfall. And your managers of your portfolio have a responsibility to make sure you make money. If a CEO of a company does not make the company money, they can get locked up for that, because that's called fiduciary responsibility. If you don't follow that law, you can get locked up because that can be considered espionage or sabotage. If a CEO, you could be like a mercenary CEO. You come in there to kill the business to make it right for a competitor to come in and take it over, hostile or whatever. That's why you can't actually do things that make your client lose money or a company lose money. So yeah, you don't want that to really be the case and what's going on. But that's kind of getting in the weeds. Basically, now I don't see anything wrong with what they did from a legal point of view, from an ethics and the moral point of view. Some could see it, but I don't really. Because right now, be honest with you, I'm trying to find some stocks that I can invest in. And that's not a bad thing because the stock market is down. We got to get it back rocking and rolling again. So I'm trying to put money into the stock market. I'm trying to put money into people's hands. I want the economy to get back on track. I want this whole social distancing and self-quarantine thing to come to an end so we're able to get back into the market and continue to make money. Therefore, I'll put my money into the market from going out to places and buying things. You know, I'm still going to restaurants through the drive-through. I'm going to Walmart. If I go to a restaurant back when they come back and say you can go to a sit-down spot, I'm tipping high. I always tip high. I tip more than 20% all the time, but I'm going to tip higher because I know you in a bad situation. And I'm going to put money into businesses so they're able to get more value, so they're able to get more employees, so they're able to put back into the economy and keep capitalism going. That's all I'm going to rock. Should I just not put money into my country? Should I not put money into businesses? Should I not put money into the hands of those that need it by engaging in the economy? I don't really understand. I'm not going to hoard my cash. It is what it is. I mean, the stock's going to come back. The market is not done. The market is down right now because of the government restrictions saying that you can't go out there and patronize businesses. That's the whole thing. You can't go to restaurants. You can't go outside at all. And you're disrupting the whole economy. The economy from the restaurants, beauty salons, barbershops, everything, any kind of front-facing business, that goes to the economy as well. Not only from the employees getting their money from their job at the restaurant, going to the mall, going here, going there, paying landlords, paying bills, all that kind of stuff. Not just that, but also the people that own it, the shareholders, they're investing. It's a big circle. When you disrupt that circle, then people aren't able to make money. The market is depressed. The economy is depressed. You have a depression. We can get out of it very quickly because we have a right market. A demand is very high for things. People are very confident in what they're able to purchase, what they're able to get with their money. They like where we're headed. Manufacturing coming back to the country, they like where we're headed. Hopefully, the positive thing that comes of this is that we get some jobs back in the country, manufacturing jobs. They're talking about manufacturing masks and medicine here in the States, finally. Should have been doing that. Some of these things, there's a reason for it to be in China. Some things I understand, like some of the heavy industry, because, you got pollution and stuff like that. People say, oh, you can't have that here. Air pollution, is that and the third. We send it to China and India. Let them get the whole world dirty, whatever. Okay, that's fine. But face masks, medicine, why can't we make that here in the U.S.? I don't really understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, it is what it is. Let me see. Okay, BDB says, I don't think they should be arrested, but they should resign. This whole thing is BS. Everyone knows it, from the flu to the market to the martial law. USA ain't buying the ABL. Hey, I say we should go ahead and get back to business. But in the meantime, you still got to be able to maneuver, do what you got to do to eat. And you still have to operate like you would normally operate. That's all. I saw that, GPK. GameStop said they're not going to close because they're essential business. Hey, shout out to GameStop. I'm with it. GameStop is not doing very well financially. So if they were to close down right now, it'd be over. They'd be bankrupt and they can't come back because they're relying upon every day worth of sales to get it. They got their website where they're able to buy stuff on there. That's fine. They got the online site where you can buy used games and stuff. That's doing okay, but the front-facing stores are not doing very well. So why would they shut down? And right now, I mean, they're definitely not going to shut down because people are in the house. They're stuck. They want to get a game from the store for a low amount of money. GameStop was perfect. It had like a little a diagram, not a diagram, but like a little memo talking about we're going to do social distancing and this, that, and the third in the store. That was hilarious. But shout out to them. 100%. Yeah, now Trump said that he's not going to do the whole nationwide shutdown. I don't understand why some are trying to push for the nationwide shutdown. I don't really get it. And because what is the purpose of that? It's been 200 deaths. That's all. And the virus has been going on since December in China. We're almost in April. 200 deaths in the U.S. I mean, come on. The cases keep going up, as are the deaths. That's because we have more testing available to see what people have and what they die from. You do what I'm saying? So I think at a certain point, you're going to see the numbers start to plateau. And then at that point, we'll go back to normal. We can't just stay in our homes forever. And I'm with you, Sam Smith. Steam is better than GameStop. I'm with you. I have all digital stuff too. But when I was, when I had no money and I got I got $20 only and I got to get something, I'll go to GameStop, get Assassin's Creed or some kind of long game and play that until I can't play it no more. Just get my dollar's worth. Now that I can afford to get a little bit more, digital is more convenient. It's like on your computer, all your programs are digital. You don't put in the disk every time for the program like back in the day. Like, some of you guys may be too young to remember, but computers back in the day, you used to have to put in a CD drive or a DVD in a DVD drive to launch stuff like, what was that? Encarta and Encyclopedia, big programs like that required this to run. Some of the old video games, it was the same way. If you wanted to play a video game demo, you had to buy the PC Gamer magazine and put the disc into your computer and play it that way. Back in the Wolfenstein days and the first Tomb Raider, back in like 95, 96. But now I have no optical drive on my computer at all. I use thumb drives if I need them, but I got like 2 hard drives in there. I got an SSD and a spinning hard drive, and I download everything. And my games, I download everything too. I rarely buy any physical media anymore. It's more convenient to have it digital. But some things you got to do physically, like voting. I want to go to the poll and vote. And if there's some kind of irregularity, the numbers ain't adding up, I want you to open the machine, take the ballots out and count them physically hand by hand, like by hand. Be in there with a camera on you, live streaming it, counting it, so we can all see it, rather than having a digital app where you don't know what got counted or what didn't. If there's some kind of, malfunction or if it gets hacked. It is what it is. Alrighty. But thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. You guys have been fantastic. If you like what you're hearing so far, hit the like button. Oh yeah, floppy disk, all that stuff. Donald Impeachable Trump. Yes, I had a floppy disk. I had the 5-inch, 5.5-inch floppy, the 3.5, the hard floppy, and then I went to the CD, then DVD, and now everything's digital. All right. But what else we got going on? Okay, super chats, and then we get to the calls. All righty, let me see. Thank you to Max Dominguez, who said, thanks for all you do, ABL. No problem. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Bill Cow, who says, good job, ABL exposed the truth, with the clapping emoji. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to First Fire 508, who says, paperless ballots coming. I read that one. Thank you for that. Thank you to, let me see, Renz, who says, I think you are downplaying the virus. No fear mongering, but a lot of people are already unhealthy based on diet. I mean, I'm just calling it how I see it. I think that the flu is worse. 80,000 people died in 2008's winter season from the flu. We did not change a thing. But now because of this virus, we want to change everything. I'm not saying this, just a thing that's not real. The flu is real too, but I'm not changing my life for the flu. It's the same thing with this. Thank you for judging, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to AAC, who says, hint, somewhere in the world right now where people are dying of COVID-19, it's the summer. Where? Where? I mean, most of the deaths that I've seen come in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, you've not seen many deaths. I think in Africa, there's like been 20 deaths or something. And the entirety of Africa, between 20 and 60 deaths. Africa is a humongous continent. Excuse me. 20 deaths? Come on. Hey, pro tip, if you do a lot of public speaking, get your water, have your water on deck. This is regular water. Hey, if you go into the store, you got to buy stuff, get your water. That's all you need, and you be good money. Thank you to AAC, who says, there is no point in fear. I'm with you 100%. Shout out to Chief Rocker, who says, peace, ABL, and chat. Keep pushing. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to T-Bone MMA, who says, good show, ABL. I'm on Fort Benning. Almost all units locked down, all drills, events canceled around the world. 25 quarantine. We in the same boat as you guys. Prayers up. Hey, man. Thank you for your service, man. Definitely appreciate you. Hopefully everything's good over there. Hopefully you guys are able to be safe and be good. And I hope that this whole quarantine thing is over sooner than later. 100%. Alrighty. Let's get to the calls. We got about 850 watching. I thank y'all for being here. If you like what you're hearing so far, hit the like button. Subscribe as well. That'd be great if you're not subscribed already. And if you're watching on or listening on an audio streaming platform, thank you for doing that. Review it over there. Give me 5 stars or whatever you can on that particular platform. Let's load up Skype. It took about 10 minutes to load up as usual. Alrighty. Let me see. Nah, no, we flew over here. I'm good money. Yeah, you're right, Dennis, because we just had Dennis or Denise. I don't want to butcher your name. Says actually, it's not summer anywhere. It's either spring or autumn. Yeah, because we just had the spring equinox, or the spring equinox. So it's spring here in the northern hemisphere, and of course, if we had that up here in northern hemisphere, they had it in southern hemisphere. So it went from summer to fall, like Africa, Australia, South America, etc. Below the equator, basically southern hemisphere. All right, let's get to the first call. Nippin, what's happening? I got you. What's going on?
Um, well, the UK is beginning a shutdown.
So what does that mean? Like a shutdown of everything, or shutdown of what?
Well, Boris Johnson came out on Friday and stated all public places were going to close, like bars, gyms, pubs, nightclubs. The only things staying open are takeouts.
Yeah, it's similar.
And
It's similar here, but not everywhere. Some places have closed. I think it's the same thing here. Now, some places are saying you can't be open at all, not even for takeout, which is crazy.
yeah, and yeah, just hope it's gone within two. I mean, like, the Prime Minister said it should be gone within 3 months if we listen to the guidelines.
That's a long time still, though. 3 months. That's a very long time.
Yeah, I think we'll find a cure. I think we will find like not a vaccine, but like a medicine before that.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think there's already been some things that have been talked about, some medications that have been put out there, so that could happen.
Yeah, like a guy in Germany also has found a thing for the cure. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he might have found a cure for the disease. Yeah. So yeah, everything's going into shutdown. I, I cannot I cannot elaborate further how bad this is.
Yeah, it's not good. Not at all. People
Someone
aren't.
in
Go
the
ahead.
chat said no Skype. Someone in the chat said no Skype.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't. I don't.
you got to keep
Go on.
going. You got to keep on going though.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, I was saying yeah. Senate insider training. What was that?
You got to watch the video. It's kind of a long story.
Okay. Yeah. And and finally, Tulsi Gabbard has dropped out of the race.
That's right.
I never understood what it was all about anyway.
What do you mean as far as her being there?
Yeah, I never understood the hype.
Me neither. I'm right there with you. I don't understand the hype because I think some people just they thought that she might be a little bit different than the regular Democrat, so they're intrigued. And then some just like the way she looks. She looks better than the average politician. But if I were to see her just walking down the street or in the grocery store picking up some bread for her kids, I wouldn't really be impressed. I'd be like, okay, you look like somebody's Liberian. You're not really. But hey, teach his own.
Well, put it this way. If she was one of those Democrats who went against what other Democrats were saying, she'd probably be, what do you call it? Banished, exiled
She probably would be.
from the party. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't stick to the narrative, there you go.
You out. You out of there. It's a wrap for you.
So yeah, now Andrew Gillum. Again, he's been in. I always thought he was a straight married man.
That's what I thought too,
Turns
but
out I was wrong.
apparently not. Yeah, apparently
So
not. You got caught in a hotel doing something strange for a little piece of change. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
So, yeah, I don't expect anything to change anytime soon in terms of the self-isolation. Though a lot of people here are saying, no, we're not going into self-isolation if we don't have it. But then on the other hand, a lot of people are saying you're putting a lot of other people's lives at risk by not doing that.
I mean, that could be said for any other time because, I mean, if you drive in the car, I mean, you can get into an accident, hit somebody head on, skid off the road, and then somebody's life's in jeopardy. I mean, you can have the cold, you can have the flu, you can die from the common cold. It's a lot of different ways you can jeopardize someone's life that happen every day that nobody really cares about. But when it comes to this, all of a sudden, everybody wants to freak out. I think it's a little bit overboard.
Yeah, I do too. But I was even trying to tell my parents that it's not, people are fear-mongering too much. But unfortunately for me, since I live with them, I have to do what they say. I mean, you can't go against what your parents say now, can you?
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not that I want to do. I know it's a bit of overreaction. This whole self-isolation thing is ridiculous, and I don't think everyone will do it either. But yeah, it's a bit over the top, if you ask me.
It is. It really is.
And the number of supermarkets over here are running out. There's literally nothing, empty shelves. My dad had to go to 3 different supermarkets just to look for one product.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's not that bad over here. I mean, there are some things that are there are some things that are kind of out of stock, but not really. I mean, you can go to the store and pretty much get what you need. But I think we have a better supply chain over here. Maybe it's probably a little bit more difficult over there in the UK to get certain things that you don't have over here.
Yeah, like guns, for example.
Oh yeah, guns. Yeah, you can't really get that over there too much.
No, we don't do that here.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much what's happening in the UK.
No doubt. So I got a lot more calls on the line, so I'm gonna get to a few more. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh yeah. No, it was nice catching up with you too, ABL.
All right now.
So yeah, I'm gonna talk. I found your video on Marvel, and I'll try and talk to you about that when I see you on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Yep. So yeah, it was nice catching up with you, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I shall see you on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Peace.
All right, peace. Hold up, Nippin. Don't say nothing because I ain't get you off yet. There you go. And I ain't wanting to, because sometimes you forget you on and you don't know what's going on. All right. Thank y'all for being here. Most certainly appreciate it. Let me get to the next call. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to get in through Skype, there's an email for that in the description box below. It'll be right there in the lower left-hand corner, just like Nippin was. Let's get to the next call. 702, you online. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, hi, Mr. Logan. This is the Red Pill Barista from San Francisco.
All righty, man. What's going on?
How are you doing tonight?
Everything's great. Can't complain.
Well, according to ABC News, we're going to be like Italy in 2 weeks and all dying. I say to those reporters, you should commit harry on the air and show us that life is hopeless, okay? Shut up about it. Okay, now, let me tell you 2 quick stories. Number 1, my sister-in-law visited my aunt in San Francisco. She parked her car half a block away. 20 minutes later, my brother-in-law, who belongs to an unnamed MC here on the West Coast, caught 2 creeps busting those windows out, caught them ripping up the upholstery. And I'll tell you something, Mr. Logan, he took care of it himself. The cops aren't here anymore, so he had to do the job. And I guarantee you those creeps won't be using their hands or heads for a few weeks. Ha! Secondly, let me tell you something. I got into it with somebody about you. I'm working now, as you know, the warden, Mayor Breed, has locked down the city of San Francisco, so all snowflakes in safe spaces now can do their super hearing at home on each other. And in the meantime, what happens with me is that I said that I listened to you. Somebody, I think, recognized me calling you up, called you a racist, called you a hater, a misogynist. I told him to go screw himself. I told him, I said, I have a right to listen to anybody I want. That's one of the most mildest men on the internet. There's plenty others that you wouldn't believe. I told him, you have no right to label anybody. It's funny how these leftists label people, and they're the first ones to go, I gotta go to my safe space. Oh my God, he said the word Donald Trump. Well, I'll tell you something. I told that guy to go screw himself. I'll listen to whoever I want, whenever I want. Now, to your video today about that meth-smoking, pole-jumping mayor of Tallahassee. Let me tell you something. He's a disgrace. What kind of politician is laying there? Look, if he wants to have an orgy, and a GAY orgy, I won't mention the name, I'll tell you something. If he wants to do that, if he wants to smoke the peace pipe, that's his business. But laying there with meth, laying there on a sofa looking like a beached whale, that guy is a disgrace, and you're right. He could transmit it to his wife and his children. They think AIDS has been eradicated. It hasn't, and that man is a disgrace. Let me touch briefly now on the stocks. Those 4 senators who sold those stocks knew exactly what they were doing. You telling me that during a crisis, their broker woke up one morning and said, oh my goodness, $3.1 million should be taken out immediately and put into telecom stocks. Give me a break, people. Are you kidding? Of course they knew. How can people make money out of a time of crisis? It is ridiculous. They are disgraced, and it goes beyond Republicans and Democrats. They're all cheats and liars. They're all making money while people have no money. Half the San Francisco people are laid off now. Even the gay bars have closed. It's terrible. Castro Street looks like an abomination. Well, it always looks like an abomination, but it's really looking bad now. I'll tell you, that's a disgrace. I don't know what you think about that, Mr. Logan. Can I get a quick opinion on what you think about those 4 snakes who sold their stocks?
Well, I think that they probably won't have anything happen to them because they had a blind choice. They could say that it was them that did it, not them. But as far as Burr, I'm not really sure. So I don't know.
Well, a blind trust simply means that people make decisions on your behalf. But they must be the greatest stockbrokers of all time. Oh, my God, they should have been around in 1929. They wouldn't have been a depression. They would have sold everything. Franklin Roosevelt would have said, good job there, fellas, good job. Because they actually would have avoided the depression. Amazing. I can't even get a banker to refinance my house. And these people actually say $3-4 million. Well, who knows? I'm glad the NBA is also losing money. I read a story today that those chumps are losing money. Losing money, Blockhead and the rest of them in the NBA, and you know who I'm talking about, Mac and Cheese. That dude actually has about $400 million, and he's crying, comparing himself to people who are making $12 an hour who've been laid off. Are you out of your freaking mind? Let me tell you one thing also, Mr. Logan, about the unemployment insurance. What people don't realize about unemployment is if you're making $800-900 a week, unemployment will not match your salary. So even though you're getting unemployment, you'll be getting a lot less than you were getting. So what's happening now on Capitol Hill is snowflake and safe space, i.e. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Those two actually now are holding up the stimulus bill because they want provisions in it for it. Read carefully into that bill. They want that bill also to cover illegal aliens. It's in there. It's in the Democratic proposal. They don't stop. It's like Marvel Comics. What are you going to do? You want to keep losing money? Having the disgusting comic book characters? Let's face it, the world's falling apart, but not you, Mr. Logan. You're not falling apart. Last thing before I go, to that caller that has a Russian name and a slightly suspect accent, if you know what I mean, that guy should be hung up on immediately. He is baiting you. This dude is unbelievable. What does he do? Crawl out of his roach coach for 15 minutes a day to make a call to you? To actually say, well, I can't say it because I'll be accused of discrimination. People of America, fight back, fight back. Now we have to, because our lives are on the line. They don't want to give us guns. I recommend every American get a gun. Bolt your door. Defend your family. Good night, Mr. Logan. Thank you for airing my views, and have a great evening.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right, my man Red Pill Barista on fire as always. Hey, I love him. He's a great caller. And thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. The number to call again is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Did you guys see the video I showed the other, probably last live show of this white guy talking about what's worse than being a black Trump supporter? They said, what's worse than being a Trump supporter, a black Trump supporter? Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you the first video, then I'm going to show you a follow-up he did, and then somebody's response. It'd be real quick. Give me like a minute and a half. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up right quick. And let's get this going. I'm going to turn the audio off because I don't want to get striked. Okay, so you see what he's doing here. Boom. Now, I don't know who this is, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make him be the face of liberalism in general. Radical liberalism, because regular normie liberals, I think, aren't necessarily like this. Some are, but not all. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But this is the guy that I hate. This is the guy that I see on Twitter with a faceless avatar that's in my mentions calling me the N-word. That's him right there. That's who I'm gonna assign that kind of behavior to. So you saw that, right? If you are a Trump supporter and a black person, you're just a scum of the earth, basically. So now there's a reaction to that from my friend Sharice. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. Alrighty, let me see. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So he had a little response because he was getting flamed in his mentions. I'm talking about flamed hard. So he's mad. Not sure what that is. Is it a flag with no stars on it? I don't know. And then that's Sharice right here giving her response. Okay, let's see it. So he's, doing a little response, and then he responded, and then she's responding to him after he recorded his video. So basically, if you're a black person and you support Trump, then that means you're not even black. That means this white man is blacker than you are. And of course, she says you're clearly not black. He's like the Sean King of what's going on here. This guy's white as snow talking about I'm black, but let's keep going. Here's why you're racist. Hilarious. Yeah, they think somehow that the Republicans, conservatives, were the party of the KKK. That's what he actually believes. But no, obviously it was the Democratic Party that was part of the KKK. Yep. Now, this is not even true. You support a president that started the birther movement. I remember back in 2008, I was upset with Hillary Clinton because at the time I was supporting Barack Obama. And I remember her campaign starting that whole rumor talking about, were you really born in America? What's going on with Kenya? So it wasn't even the right that started it. It was the left. It was Hillary Clinton. Same thing with the fake news kerfuffle. Hillary started it. Trump took it to the moon. That's what happened with both of those things. And this is what she says. President's pro-life and that's pro-black by being pro-life. There you go. Now, he says you blindly ignore the basic values and principles your ancestors fought for. What values are those? I don't think that our ancestors fought for us to be killed in the abortion facility and to just be fed hand and foot by the government master. We fought to get out of slavery, not to get put right back in it. So that's not right. And what she says is correct. We fought for conservative values while we were, back in the day. Now he says you go against 95% of your own people. Talking about voting, right? But most black folks, when you talk to us, we're conservative. We just don't vote the same way that we are. I was in that same boat. I was always conservative socially, but my voting just wasn't really there. So this whole thing is just false. This is the guy that I hate. So there you go. All right, let's get back to the calls. I want to show you guys that. Let's go. 865, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? What's going on, man?
This is Aaron up here in Sevierville.
All righty, man. What's happening?
Well, I tell you what, since I'm a white heterosexual male from East Tennessee that's obviously racist, that's dated Latinas and black females alike, I'm going to talk about Andrew Gillum first off, because I'm racist. I'm a racist white man, and I want to let you know, I'm wondering why this black guy that's running from Senate for Florida, or governor, maybe as a governor for Florida, on the DL, he's renting out guys and doing meth. I'm hearing there ain't no charges, ABL.
Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing. Matter of fact, I think when the police came, they gave him an escort back to his house. So I don't know how that happened. Probably because they know him.
Well, what about that? Imagine that. Imagine what a little bit of money do for you, right, ABL?
That's right.
Don't matter what color or how you swing, which way or the other, you got a little bit of cash in your pocket. That's how it goes, right?
Absolutely.
That's what it sounds like. Seeing insider trading, everybody's acting like this is brand new news. Wake up, y'all. Where you been for 30, 40, 50 years? You don't think the Senate, the Congress, the House of Representatives, they ain't been insider trading for 50 years? I've been seeing this stuff forever, my whole life.
Right.
Everybody's acting like it's brand new. Tulsi Gabbard, come on, y'all. She's a 5.5, 6.0 at best. But she's still a baby-killing, gun-grabbing, tax-raising communist, just like all the rest of the liberals. And she's selling out to sleepy Uncle Joe for whatever she can get out of it. Just like Bernie's going to do in a few weeks or a month or so. He's going to buy him a new house when they pay him off. It's all the same story. It's all the same song and dance. Don't act like it's new, people. We've seen it for how many times now?
We've seen it over and over again.
It's getting old now. I'm kind of getting bored with it, ABL. I'm expecting something new, and they don't throw nothing new at us. I'm kind of getting bored with it.
Right.
The China virus, people, it's a chest cold. I am 99% sure that I've done had the corona. I'm in East Tennessee. I'm a smoker. I admit it's a bad habit. It's nasty. And I thought maybe, hey man, I thought to myself, hey man, you're smoking too much. You need to calm down. For the last 2 or 3 weeks, I had a little bit of a cough, like one cough every 3 to 5 minutes. Just a little quick, dry cough. I'm thinking, man, you got to cut back on your coughing. 2 days ago, it quit. I'm still smoking the same amount. Nothing's changed. The cough's gone. I'm thinking I done had the corona, ABL.
Hey, it's possible because, I mean, really, how does anybody actually know unless they get tested? You know, they keep saying that the cases are rising. Is it because there's more people that are being infected, or is it just more tests that are being done? So people are finding out they have it. They could have been had it the whole time and didn't know it.
Right. For months, they're saying 60, 70% of younger, healthier people may not even know you got it. So if you've done had it and it's gone, they don't even know. And if you do have it and you're healthy, they test you, you have it, that adds to the numbers. But if it's done gone and you don't get tested, then that's even more numbers. So that lowers the death rate. They're saying the death rate's 1% or less. I'm thinking the death rate's 0.5% or 0.2%.
It probably is, because every time they find more cases, the death rate keeps going down, because now they know they got a bigger picture of what's going on. And then if you got a small pool of people that have been tested, of course it's going to be a high death rate because you don't know everybody that has it. So as the cases keep rising, when people get tested, it'll keep going down and down and down to the point where we realize it's not really that bad of a disease.
Yeah, they look at the swine flu or whatever it was in 09 or 08, 2010, whenever it was, there was over 100,000 people died. People didn't freak out and empty the toilet paper aisle then. What is going on with these people now? What is wrong with people, ABL? Please tell me, what is going on with people?
Hey, if I knew, I'd be able to cure everything that's wrong in the world.
All right, man. We're depending on you, ABL. I'm glad I got through to you this time. I've been trying for 3 weeks, probably. I ain't talked to you in a month, probably. It's good to hear your voice. I appreciate what you're doing. I love you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. You're on here. We depend on you. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm out.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, I think this thing has been going on for a while, because here's something else. The travel from China got restricted like in January, like mid-January. So in between when the virus first started in China in like mid-January, they were still coming over here. And where were they coming? They could have been coming to your town, wherever you live at. I know people that have said they probably already had the coronavirus. And at the time when they had it, it was undiagnosed. So some say you should have got tested. Well, at that time, it didn't have the test. It was so new, they didn't know what it was. Unknown respiratory illness, and go home, take these pills, and figure it out that way. But now, all of a sudden, you got a test. You can identify it. Maybe you can identify it. There's some false positives out there. You might have a regular head cold, and you get so you have a coronavirus. You may have no symptoms and say that you have the coronavirus. Like, how do you know that the test is 100% accurate? Even if it is, at a certain point, the test wasn't there. So you just wouldn't know what you had. Therefore, you couldn't really prevent just walking around doing whatever you were doing. But let's get to the next call. All right. 607, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, good evening, ABL. This is Chuck calling from North Carolina.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. A few things. First off, my question to you is, earlier this evening you were talking about no to a vaccine. Now, did you reference no, you don't want to receive a vaccine, or no, you don't want one to actually even be developed or even care about it?
Well, I don't want it. I mean, they can develop it. That's fine, but I don't want it.
Okay. I mean, myself personally, I really would like this vaccine because I got 2 family members that if they caught this, yeah, I don't see the prospects being too well. That's my side of the coin.
Thank you.
Nevertheless. That's it.
Well, I mean, I hear you on that. I do hear you on that
Mm-hmm.
because, some people, they're it's very dangerous if they were to catch it. It can be very harmful to them. And if they want it, they should be able to get it. Just like people that have it, they should be able to try experimental drugs if they want to. But me personally, I think I'm good on that.
Hey, that's your choice, man. You're a grown man. You make your own decisions.
Absolutely.
The next thing I want to ask you, this something I've been trying to watch the actual the Wu flu. I call it the Wu flu, the Wu flu briefings, and I have not heard this question, and I'm going to ask you if you've heard this question. When Donald Trump said, or mainly that study out in France saying, hey, these two medications, one, I can't remember what the names are, but, you know, the antiviral and antibacterial.
Yeah.
The one for malaria and stuff. When that came out, and say, hey, this might be a possibility. As I said, keyword, possibility. One question I didn't hear was, how long will it take for the approval for an actual trial to be done here in the United States? And the second question is, more important, how long does it take for the trial to work?
Those are good questions.
I'm just curious. Did you hear that any of those questions, or any of your viewers heard any of those questions? Because, I mean, I'm not giving my hopes up, but it's actually nice to hear a little bit of hope that, hey, we might possibly have a cure. You know, what's wrong with that?
I mean, those are good questions. I've not heard those. Maybe they were asked, but I didn't hear them myself. Okay. But I'm not sure they can actually answer it, but maybe they can. Maybe they'll come out in the presser or in that briefing they do with Fauci and the whole squad, and they'll give an answer or some kind of estimate. But
the last thing I heard was, I'm sorry, please.
But I think that they have somebody in trials right now. I did hear that. They have somebody in trials right now, but I don't know how long it'll actually take for that to be completed.
Okay, well, if they're in trials right now, that's new on me. Because I knew there were human trials for a vaccine. I knew that happened last Monday.
Yeah.
This Monday. And I heard like today, like they were waiting for one more rubber stamp from the FDA to actually start an actual a trial, an actual control study. There we go. A control study here in the United States utilizing those two medications.
Well, somebody in the chat says there's no trials needed because the medications are already 20 years old. So these medications already exist. It's just a matter of, are they going to be effective against the virus or not?
Yeah, that's actually what the trial or the case. That trial is the case study.
Okay, I see.
It's to see if they're actually effective. It's play on words here. Apologies.
I got you.
So I was just, I mean, and furthermore, I like some of the other things. I'm like, I'm not even gonna get into them because you got a lot of other colors. But I mean, for the love of God, especially for the mainstream media, if there happens to be a little bit of glimmer of hope and light at the end of the tunnel, don't just bash Trump and say, "Oh yeah, he's lying, this, that, and the other." Please don't, because Americans really need it right now.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, my family's starting to get a little bit of cabin fever. I'm willing to bet a lot of Americans are getting cabin fever. And, yeah, we really want this hope. We really want this to go through. So, it's not being so evil, like in my eyes.
I hear you, man.
But nevertheless, good talking to you. Have a good night now.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you all for being here. Most certainly appreciate it. Let me get to the next call. 804, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Mike. Calling, first time calling.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Live. Hey, I just wanted to call about, you were talking about in South Africa, nobody's catching it. That's because of this drug, this hydrochlor, I can't pronounce it, whatever that drug is. It's an anti-malaria drug. And we've had it for 70 years. So, I mean, it's out there. We just got to approve it for use for this virus.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hopefully they do. Yeah. You know, I think that's one.
I know it. Let's go ahead.
I think there's one thing about it that there's the malaria drug is already out there that people are taking that's preventing them from getting it. Also, because you're in a warmer climate. You know, just summer just ended there, so it may be more difficult for them to get it than us who just had winter. You know, we just now spring is coming. It'll start to get warmer, and you might see the cases start to die down, and it could be a combination of the heat and also the malaria drug. So hopefully they can get that, you know, in some kind of trial to see if it's going to actually be effective against it, and go ahead and get it rolling, and you know, get the process done quick. Let's not waste a lot of time with it.
Yeah. I think they've got all that actually, because I think it was South Korea was using it. But that's all I wanted to say, man. I'm gonna let you get back. Thanks, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Okay, so the drug is hydrochloroquine, and azithromycin. I can pronounce these ridiculous names. Like, let's make these names in English. How about that, rather than pig Latin? But let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And I'm gonna go ahead and get let's see, 631. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how you doing? Calling from New York.
All righty, everything's great. How about yourself?
Everything's good here. Wanted to talk about two issues. I'll talk about the first one being 4 Democrat policies that seem to be acting in tandem with one another. One of them, which is the policy all around the country, which is they always advocate against guns. Number 2, something that you mentioned on a show recently, for example, in Philadelphia, how they do not want to arrest people for property crimes. 3, Ayanna Pressley going on TV and saying that she wants people who are incarcerated released so that they are not at risk of getting the Chinese virus in prison. And 4, the New York City policy of no bail for habitual offenders. It's very interesting how all of those policies line up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I feel like they're trying to take advantage of the situation because they want prisoners to be released. Just, people that don't need to be released, people that are in there for a good reason, they want them to be released anyway. And their excuse is, oh, well, they could catch the coronavirus in jail. We got to let them free. That's, it's a bunch of BS if you ask me.
But, they want to let prisoners out. They want to make sure that they're not arrested. If they are arrested, no bail. And then people can't defend themselves because they don't have guns. So it lays bare the Democrat modus operandi, which is they just like crime.
Yeah, they like crime, and they also like people not being able to defend themselves and relying upon the government for everything. If you can't have a gun and criminals are just roaming the street, you're going to yearn for the government to come do something for you. And rather than just being an individual, you just rely on the government. That's how they're able to keep a lot of people constantly voting for them.
But not only relying on the government, because sometimes, they'll say, well, call the police. But if the police aren't arresting people for property crimes, then you have to defend yourself. So it's all meant to make people victims, but there's really nobody to run to. You become a sitting duck, and they just love chaos.
Right.
Now, of course, the big news that everyone's talking about, and you've dedicated most of your show to, that being the Chinese virus. I wanted to bring up an interesting idea. I wanted to get your opinion on this. Because first of all, right now Americans are fearful, but soon fear turns to anger. And Trump is going to direct that anger at China as part of his campaign. I think it's natural for people to be angry. Now, I don't know if you mentioned this, but and the other day when I heard it, I thought it was just a rumor, and then I looked it up, and anybody can go on the internet and verify what I'm saying. There is a biosafety level 4 virology lab in Wuhan, in China.
Yeah.
It's called the Wuhan Institute of Virology of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. And I find it to be an amazing coincidence that the Chinese virus comes from the same city that this very special, very high-level safety of quarantine, I guess, it's one of those things where you walk in the facility and you have to walk up several levels and go through several levels of, getting washed and cleaned and clothed in order to deal with things that are highly toxic. Isn't it an amazing coincidence that the virus comes from this city?
It's a humongous coincidence.
And the other thing is, my understanding is that the doctor who originally found it is an ophthalmologist. And he said this is something unusual, and then they put him in jail, and now he's dead. And it's also I found there's a high correlation between people being dead and not talking about what their discovery was. I think that's an amazing coincidence too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's China for you. I mean, celebrities even, if you talk about things that they don't want to talk about in the Communist Party in China, you would disappear. It was one celebrity that was like the equivalent to like Charlize Theron over here, vanished for months because of the things she said that the government didn't like. So yeah, they're not above killing you if you say something that they don't want you to say.
So in other words, well, here's the point I'm trying to make. What would be the difference between China releasing a biological weapon on its own people as incubators and what's going on right now?
I'm not understanding what you mean.
Meaning that it looks... What would be the difference between biological warfare by a country and the situation that we're in right now?
I mean, I don't see much of a difference, really, because I was thinking about this earlier. They could have had a strategy to engage, like they could have had a strategy to infect Americans through their own people. So it wouldn't look like they just put it on us, because they could trace it back there, well, all this and that. So they infect their own people, have them travel, because it happened like right during Chinese New Year. So they know people are traveling all over the world, to the West, to Canada, to Europe, to the US, and then they're going to infect people. They don't care if they lose some people in Wuhan. They'll put that on lockdown because they got plenty more individuals that have in their country, like 1.3 billion people. So they're not really worried about, 10, 20 million. That's not really that big of a deal for them. They put the whole city on lockdown. Like you said, use them as incubators, go around the world and infect people. That's definitely a strategy that could have been used by them.
And there's one last issue, and then I'll go because I know you have a lot of callers tonight. This has had the effect of transforming Trump into a wartime president, and it also dovetails with the issues that he's been talking about for 4 years, which is stopping illegal immigration. So, in other words, people that might run across the border that have other diseases, because we know from the people that they were picking up that were coming over from Mexico that some of them had, for example, tuberculosis or things like that.
Yeah.
His America First policy, which is let's worry about Americans before the rest of the world. Every one of his rallies, he says, we want to hire American and buy American. And now the idea of something being made in China, reading that label on a product, is going to be pretty toxic. And if you add on top of that, now I don't really know what the details are, and if you look on the internet, it's not really clear. But we do know that Hunter Biden's hedge fund went into China and walked out with some amount of money. Now the amount is disputed, but Hunter Biden went there, came out with something, and I think Trump is going to tie Biden into being sympathetic and the Democrats as being sympathetic to China at a time when American people are going to be very angry at China. And I think that's going to help him in his election, in his re-election.
That's a very good point. And I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Have a great night. Keep positive and keep up the great work.
All right, now, thank you.
Good night.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And yeah, this whole made in China thing is going to be an issue now. And like I was saying earlier, hopefully when this whole thing is over, we have more things that are made in America. Like I was saying, some of the heavy industry, it'd be hard to return it because of the pollution factor. I'm not against returning heavy industry. I'm not against returning all the manufacturing to the United States if possible. Not at all. But it'd be hard to return heavy industry because of the pollution factor. But some of the small things, like, I don't know, not small, but some of the things that don't have a big quote unquote carbon footprint, like producing medicine, things we need, gas masks, face masks to reduce the particle transmission from the air to your mouth, things like that we can make here in the States. They've already converted existing factories into places that can make those. So we have the capacity right now to do it. Why can't we increase that capacity to really make it here in the States? Or have flexible factories like, okay, if you need this, make this. If you need that, make that. And just have that be that way here in the States rather than in Cambodia or Thailand, China, India, etc. But let's get to the next call. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. All right, let's go. 323 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Good Gorilla, man. What's up?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Nothing much, man. Hey, I'm listening to your show, man, and I wanted to give everybody. Oh, let me turn you off in the back. So I'm gonna give people a few tips on how to combat any virus. This is not medical advice, right? I'm not a doctor. I don't have any medical background. But if you do certain things, you could actually combat any virus or anything that will, take root in your sinus cavity that will eventually go down to your lungs, because essentially all things like that upper respiratory infection start in your nasal cavity, but not your nasal cavity, your sinus cavity, right? So get a blow dryer. You hear me?
I'm listening to you.
Okay, so you get a blow dryer, right, and a spray bottle with water, okay? Then, now this is if you have it or not. Like during the winter season, this is something you can do every winter season or every so-called flu season. You get a blow dryer and a spray bottle of water, and you turn that blow dryer on to the highest setting, but the low fan on low, highest setting. You want that heat. And essentially what you're doing is you're breathing the hot air from the blow dryer in through your nose and spraying your face at the same time to keep your face cool. You do that for 5 minutes twice a day, okay? And so essentially viruses don't like heat, don't like to be in heat above 135 degrees. So you can do this in a dry sauna, which can almost reach 200 degrees sometimes. But if you can't go to a dry sauna because they're closing down gyms, you take the blow dryer and you do that thing. You see what I'm saying? And you spray your face to keep your face cool. And to get more concentrated heat, you put a hand partially on the back of the blow dryer to kind of like increase the heat, because that'll increase the heat. It'll overheat the blow dryer a little bit. And so that will concentrate the heat a little bit more. So that's something that people can do to combat any sinus infection. I'm not going to say the other words. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just something I'm putting out there for y'all. And also, listen, everybody needs to make sure that they have tools and projectiles, okay, at all times. So this will be a learning lesson for those who laugh at people like me who are like so-called preppers. I have hundreds of calls. Can you help me with this? I need to go to the range. I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm like, I was trying to do that with you 3 years ago.
Right. So listen.
Man, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? Because I got mine. Another piece of advice is you get a group of people that you know you can trust, and you form a group essentially of people who you can link up with in case of an emergency. That way you guys can make moves efficiently without being slowed down and all the other stuff. You guys come up with a plan. You know what I'm saying? Even I would suggest you go to you guys get, because there might not be a lot of space, especially if in an urban city and you have a smaller house, you might not have room for all those extra supplies. So one thing you can do.
You there? Your sound dropped off. All right. I don't know what happened to his sound. I can't hear him at all. I'll give him a little bit to get his sound back. You there? Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah, you good.
All right, my bad, man. My bad. This stupid phone. So what you do is, if you don't have space and you live in an urban area, you guys come together and get a storage unit. And everybody pitches in to supply that storage unit in case you have to bug out. You guys can meet up at a rally point and boom, you make moves from there. You know what I mean? Because what you don't want to do is get caught up in the city when they lock it down completely. Because this right here is a soft lockdown. It's not even a real lockdown. I live in L.A., and I can still go to the grocery store. I can still go here. I can still go there. If I could drive around if I want to. But once you completely lock down, it's too late.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're stuck. And you don't know what's going to happen after that. So you were talking about people not relying on the government so much, and I'm glad you said that, because there are only so many emergency service people. So you definitely cannot rely on the government to do anything for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, you have people, I don't trust the government, and then they'll rely on them for everything. No, you got to be self-sufficient. You got to be able to make moves without the government. And what we're going to say, one more thing is, so going on off of that, look, you guess what? Are you aware of what's going on in California after this all started? What these liberals are doing now?
All I know is that they shutting the whole state down.
But not only that, they're buying up all the guns and ammunition.
So who's buying it? Just people or who?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. Liberals, like people, like these store owners, these gun store owners are frustrated because these people have never had a gun in their life.
Right. So they don't know what they're doing. And then also they're probably frustrated with the whole process. They're thinking they can get a gun right now and bring it home. And it's like, no, you can't do that.
No, they didn't know that.
Right.
They didn't know that. But these people voted for that type of crap.
Right.
For the 10-day waiting period. Now they got to wait 10 days, and God knows what's going to happen when they get back to the shop and it's closed. You can't pick your stuff up because they shut it down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like I heard in Tennessee, there's one guy in Tennessee. Even in Tennessee, it's a 10-minute background check.
Yeah.
They can't even do that right now.
Wow. Yeah. Because
he can't get his stuff. He paid for it.
So wait a minute. He could not do the background check?
No, because he ordered the stuff. I guess it was mailed. He ordered online. It was mailed to a FFL, right?
Yeah.
They called him and said, "Oh, your stuff is here." So he said, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go get it." He went to go get it, and he got a phone call. Hey, don't even bother because they shut down the background check system.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a guy who had, I forgot his name. He's a YouTuber. He's I forgot the name of his channel. Redhead dude, bald, red beard. Forgot his name. But when he was on his way, they told him he couldn't do it. He couldn't get what he paid for because the government shut down the background check system.
That's
You know
crazy.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's when you realize when the infringement comes in. People say, "Oh, a little background check. Oh, that's not an infringement. That's not an infringement." But when you go to pick up your stuff and the government shuts down the background check system, you can't get your stuff legally. What would you call that?
That's definitely an infringement right there.
That's an infringement. People don't get that. You start, it's just a simple background check. It's a simple background check. But then if something shuts down, the NICS system is not operating, boom. You can't get your stuff legally.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And then if the gun owner, the FFL gives you your stuff, the FFL dealer gives you your stuff anyway, that's his butt. Then he gonna stick his neck out for you?
Nope.
With all those federal charges that can come down on it, he can lose his license. So these are all infringements that have been placed upon us. And that's why it's always good to look ahead and say, you know what? I need to get it stacking right now. So when this thing is over, everybody take this as a lesson. Every time you go grocery shopping, buy a little bit extra food. Every time you get toilet paper, buy a little bit extra toilet paper. And then stack it up. Every time you go to the range and they selling you ammo, buy a little extra ammo. You know what I mean? And so that way you're good to go. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much all I got, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man.
In times like this, we need to stick together and, focus on what's really important, and that's our freedoms. And anybody who gets in the way of that is our enemy. Point blank and period.
All right, thank you for the call, man.
Talk to you later, bro.
Definitely appreciate you. All
No
right.
problem, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.
That was a great call from my man, Snapzilla, Gorilla. 100%. That's right on point. See, I've bought guns here in Tennessee, and it's a little background check you got to do. Take 10 minutes. But when I went in there, matter of fact, when I went in there one time, the machine was kind of acting a little bit funny. Like I had to come back the next day. I think that's what happened. Nah, I did have to come back. They fixed it right when I was getting mine. Or something happened. But yeah, it was an issue with the system. It was kind of janky. Now, this is what the government does. The government does not really innovate systems like that. They give you some, and it, like, matter of fact, here's how it goes. When you go to Tennessee and get a gun, here's what happens. You have to, I think, do your background check first, then you can purchase your gun, or vice versa. Either way it goes, you got to do a background check right there. It's a little desk little chair set up with his computer on it. The computer's like something from 1997. Big beige monitor, keyboard. It doesn't really look like it's something that is modern. Now, matter of fact, I take that back. It's a flat screen. Like a little black flat screen, but it just feels old. It does not feel up to date. Not polished. It's kind of janky. And you throw that out, and it usually comes back pretty quick. You get your gun, and you out the door. But if that doesn't work, then you got a problem. You got a serious issue. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan of that at all. They need to go ahead and get rid of that or do something else, do something better, update the system. Take it out of the hands of the government because the government does not innovate. This is what happens when you rely upon the government. They're not there to really innovate or do anything that's better than what they had been doing before. They're there to do one particular task, and that's it. They don't care if they do it the same for 20 years. Why innovate? What's the point? They're not trying to make money. Innovation comes from competition, and that always creates a better product. But we got some super chats, and thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. Hit the like button for me. That'll help me out a lot. Thank you to Justin Miller, who says, do you think China should face any kind of financial repercussions or sanctions due to the worldwide issues stemming from the coronavirus? That's a very good question. And yes, I do think they should have some kind of penalty levied against them from what they have done. This whole thing is crazy. I mean, the world has come to a standstill for the most part. And they're responsible for it. So yes, they should be held accountable. Absolutely. 100%. Thank you to AAC, who says, thank your days will be faster. Enjoy the speed up. It was kindness. Thank you for that. Shout out to Hanzo, who says, expect Ivan to call up to move goalposts and make mountains out of a molehill in his desperate attempt to try and criticize the president. Thank you for that donation and hilarious words. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Hot Wings, who says, hashtag China should pay for it. Hashtag summer is coming. 100%. I'm right there with you. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Sir Nasty, who says, ABL, a leader of the real American media. Thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to my man, Killer Fish 99, who says, drove past the ABC store with people standing in line outside. Now, if you don't know, the ABC store is liquor store. That's where you buy your alcohol and stuff. People are getting ready for the hard times. I guess if people are going to be locked in, they're going to be feeling pretty good. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Natalie Squarefoot Gardner for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Let's get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All righty, let's go. All right, caller, who do we have?
Hello.
Yes, who is this?
Hello, this is U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders calling to talk to Anthony.
Oh, hey, I'm Amir. You talking to me right now. What's going on? How's everything going?
Yeah, okay. I want to know exactly what your problem is with shutting down the U.S. economy.
People got to be able to eat. They got to be able to have somewhere to live. They got to pay bills, and they got to continue on with life. And life is expensive. It costs money, so you got to work to be able to pay for it.
Yes, so we're going to shut it down and let all those things happen.
Why is that a good thing? Why is shutting the economy down good?
I mean, it's just it's so unfair and it's unequal, and we've been trying to do it for so long, and suddenly we have the perfect excuse, and for some reason you got to get in the way. I mean, it seems to me like, Anthony, you're some sort of party pooper.
No, not at all. I'm a guy that just wants the best for American citizens. I think you, sir, just want what's best for your particular platform to usher in communism.
Look, I think that's a spurious accusation. I have never, ever supported communism. I've always condemned authoritarianism in Saudi Arabia and in, of course, countries like, Israel and, America and stuff like that. So I think that it's very unfair of you to accuse me of something like that.
How about Cuba? How you feel about them?
Once in a while I like to sit back with my wife Jane, of course, and, smoke a cohiba, have, Cuba Libre, and talk about our time back in college when I was in the mountains with Jay and Fidel. So, I have very fond memories of Cuba.
Oh, very interesting, because a lot of people in Miami did not like the fact that you praised the Cuban government for the reading program. People that have escaped Cuba did not like that too much.
Well, I don't feel that the people of Miami have any more standing to talk about me. After all, I seem to remember about 10 years ago, they poached a certain important, hardworking star from Cleveland and took him to Miami, and they wouldn't redistribute the NBA stars appropriately. So I think the people of Miami are just very selfish people.
Hey, if you want to say that, that's fine. I think that they'll hear that. And when it comes time to vote, I'm sorry, you're not in the race anymore, so they can't vote for you anyway. Are you still in the race? What's going on with that?
I am still in the race as of right now. And if you want, you can go to BernieSanders.com and give a $27 donation. And, as of right now, my plane has been grounded, but jet fuel is at the lowest prices ever. So your contribution will probably let me do 3 private flights a month or within a week instead of just one. So just think about that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So, I mean, what's the outlook for this election process? Are you going to make up any ground, because you be getting beat in the head by Biden? Are you going to be able to pull it out and get a nomination? What's going on?
Look, Anthony, I don't know much about pulling out. That's something that former President Clinton knows more about. So I'm sorry, I am not going to pull out of this race. Unfortunately, it looks like Vice President Biden is going to win. Now, normally, I would go negative on someone who has, of course, cavorted with segregationist senators and, in fact, tried to reduce Social Security and all of that. But the fact is that I know where my bread is buttered. And, in fact, I think that, Vice President Biden would make an amazing president once I finally get hacksawed in the next couple of weeks and have to drop out and endorse him.
Well, I'm glad you're aware of the situation, because I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen here.
Look, Anthony, everybody has a role to play in political scene. And of course, sometimes you're the steamroller and sometimes you're the doormat. I mean, that's the way it is.
Hey, I guess you're right about that.
But I still have a lot of things to advocate for. And I've been coming up with a list of important causes to try to fight for in the next few years. And, I think that you're going to see a whole new Bernie Sanders in the coming months after, of course, I drop out and bend over for the DNC.
All right, there it is. I can't.
I've come up with a list, and things like, you ever notice when you go downstairs at the Hilton and you go to the breakfast nook and they put the butter there, but the butter just came out of the freezer and it's all cold and hard, and you have to cut it with the knife and then spread it, and before you've carved out a huge matzo ball out of the bread. I mean, that's an injustice. That's an injustice, Anthony. Are you going to donate $27 to BernieSanders.com to help me fight this? And make them put out butter that's been at least thawed a little for about 30 minutes?
I'm going to go ahead and pass on that. I got to go to a better establishment that does not have the frozen stick of butter, and have that be that. Trump 2020.
How about when you drive your Ferrari over to the gas station and the person before you hasn't wiped down the gas dispenser, whatever they call it, and you have to take your leather jacket sleeve and put it around the gas dispenser, and get exposed to all of those petroleum germs that they have. Petroleum is from dead dinosaurs. Imagine what types of diseases are down there, and you have to use that in order to fuel your car. You think that has to change, Anthony? That's why we got to eliminate fossil fuels.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I have a Toyota, and I don't know about leather coats. I have just regular hoodies and stuff like that. I'm not living high on the hog like you are, Bernie Sanders, from all that good money you're getting.
That's right, you're not. Remember that. Anyway, BernieSanders.com, $27. Everybody have a great night.
All right. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, okay.
All right. That was presidential candidate, allegedly, Bernie Sanders. And that was not a troll. That was really him for real. Coming from Vermont or D.C., one of his houses he has, the beach house, the regular house, or the house in D.C. I'm not really sure, but let's get to the next call. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. 712, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Alan from Iowa. Hey, we'll get right into it. This is to the media, PBS, CNN, all you good people. It's called the Wuhan virus. China virus, not China BS. Got it? Okay, I want to scratch them off first. Now, let me ask our listening audience here a question. What do you want in a leader? Here's what I've kind of come up with. Let's look at a few things here. President, you actually had some things you said earlier. Great minds think the same. Boy. Anyhow, number one, President Trump in January, around the second, third, right around there, he basically shut down the air traffic to China. What was the Democrats doing at that time?
Oh, they were saying it was too much. They were saying you're overreacting and it's racist and all this and that.
And at the same time, they were impeaching him.
Yes.
So, yep. And then what did Biden say? It was racist, right? And basically keep the air traffic going. Think about that. Number two, President Trump, since the beginning, build that wall. We want to vent the illegals coming in the country. What's the media and Biden and the Democrats say? Open borders. Come one, come all. Think about that. Number three, September 2019. Trump demands the manufacturers to leave China. 80% of our medical supplies are made in China. What did Biden say? Basically, let me see here. Okay, Biden said the reason why he wants to run for office was foreign government officials wanted him to run. So, how much did Joe's son, Hunter, get from China now? Question. Think about that. Number four, President Trump with the Wuhan virus. In January, he starts a task force. And then he gets the government and private sector to join in a joint effort for testing and for finding a cure. Biden, I'm not sure what he would do. He would probably say, more government. Think about that. Number five, President Trump cuts regulations. Number one, he lets doctors basically you can cross state lines. Great call. FDA, he cuts steps for faster approvals. And also, this is a new one I never knew of, companies that make spirits, like liquor and stuff like that, that now they can also make hand sanitizer. Did you know about that?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that guy on TV who was saying, hey, my factory, I can convert it right now to make hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so he basically helped on that. He also basically, on the truckers, for instance, he knows that we're going to have, the lines, we already seen it with the grocery stores and everything. Guess what? Hey, truckers, we're going to give you a few more hours on driving time, which that's going to get the product to you faster. So, Biden, do you think that he would have any of these things that I just talked about? Do you think he would have passed any of that stuff? So, think about that. So, my last but not least, who's the best leader? President Trump or Senator Biden? Oh, by the way, where is Biden at anyway?
Biden's somewhere hiding. He didn't want to catch the coronavirus, and I think that they're using this opportunity right now to shield him because all that's going on is kind of a distraction away from his particular campaign. He could pretty much hide in the darkness and then come out whenever the whole thing is over with, which could be quite a while.
Exactly. Or he's just hiding because, hey, he can't remember where the hell he's at.
Pretty much.
I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that, people. You Americans, you you Americans think of this. Hey, I want to thank you for letting me you taking my call, and I appreciate you very much.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You bet. Bye bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to you guys for being here. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it, subscribe as well. If you are a first-time viewer and not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. It's absolutely free. And it most certainly make my day, put a big smile on my face. But let's get to the next call. And who do we have here? Let's try 828. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi there. This is Janie from North Carolina. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. About yourself?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I just wanted to make a couple comments. I think that it's very possible that the coronavirus has already been around, and maybe that's some of the flu. Because I woke up one day and I didn't have a fever, but when I woke up, I felt like there was like an elephant on my chest. I could not breathe, and I am a smoker, but I had an inhaler. So I went to take my dog out, and it would just take all my breath. So I did go to the doctor, and he gave me an inhaler and an antibiotic, and that one is a Z-Pack that they're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is good for the lungs. That hydro something plus the Z-Pack, which most of them are just 3 pills. But then I didn't get better, so we called back, and I thought, what if I've got the coronavirus? But I don't go out a lot, so if I really am not, around a lot of people. So I called the doctor's office, and they said, well, they didn't have any test kits. Said to call the health department, so I called the health department. The health department here in Burke County did not have any test kits, but she said I'd have to go get tested for the flu, and if the flu came back negative, then they would put me in for a candidate to have a test. So, I didn't get a test, and I've still got the terrible cough, and I've still got the shortness of breath. But around here, the grocery stores are just cleaned out. I have, yet to get any, meat. As soon as the meat comes in, it's just gone. But I do think it's a good idea for people to store up. I really do. I've been storing food for years. Some of it's probably bad. But, I'm like you. What if China done this deliberately? And maybe there's something else going on, other than that they want everybody indoors, everybody at home with their family, that something else might be happening behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. But I did understand them saying about why they wanted to do this, even though it's wrecked the economy. But if you think about it, they're in New York City, because I looked it up, I Googled it. And there's 8.6 million people in New York. And the governor says there's only 53,000 beds available. So if all those people contracted the virus at one time, they'd just be dying. I mean, they really would. So I think what they're trying to do is rotate people in and out, because the virus will spread. But yeah. I really think that, so I think it's really good that they're doing that, but I think there's something else going on. I really do. But what else was I going to say? Okay. The virus itself. Over in China, now I watched videos. I think China lied all about the deaths that they had, because people was getting videos out before the Chinese government just shut them down. That there were hundreds and thousands of people there that were dying. That the ones that you can re-get this virus. The first time you get it, it attacks the lungs, and it damages your lungs 20 to 30%. So, that's why for older people, it's going to really, really affect us. But then if you get, and it weakens your heart. So if you get reinfected, that's why they say people in China were falling dead, because they had been reinfected. But I really appreciate everything you do, and really, my best advice for people is to stay away from other people, because this, it could be a really deadly, deadly virus. Well, it is a really deadly virus, but I'm stuck at home as well. And around here, if there's a break-in, because they put us in a little emergency. We don't have no cases here, no reported cases in Burke County. But if you have a robbery and you don't know who done it, they just want you to call and make a report. They're not even going to come to your house now.
Right.
You know, it's just crazy. And now you pay your power bill and your water bill. You just do that online or make an appointment to go pay your bill.
Right.
It's, you know, I mean, some stuff that I think they're doing overboard on. And I think the hoarding of the toilet paper, it really did take me like 3 days to even get any toilet paper. And I ended up getting it at Staples. You know, the industrial boxes.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're able to get some because it's kind of wild out here. But I got a few more calls on the line, so I'm gonna get to those. But thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, you have a great night.
All right, now same to you.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller, most certainly appreciate it. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And thank you all for being here. I most certainly appreciate y'all. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, so I certainly appreciate it. Nico, what's going on, man?
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Well, I'm just kind of a little upset that my job's been shut down for the time being.
Yeah, that sucks. Now, are they going to bring it back, or what's going on with it?
In the next April 7th until then. But you know what? Surprisingly, I'm not as freaked out as many people. If there's this one album cover from a band called Elaine called Apocalypse and Chill, and that album cover, that's basically how I feel right now. Just when there's just lounging and then just lounging after Apocalypse goes off, because that's just how I feel. Life still kind of goes on for me, and people, I think, just need to calm down.
Yeah, they do. They do need to calm down because it's not that bad. It's a virus and it's an issue, but it's not that bad.
I mean, 50,000 people died from the common flu.
Right, every year.
Mm-hmm. But you don't hear them talk about that.
Exactly.
And you know what? I'm just saying is that when I see people hoarding toilet paper, especially when they load them up in their Dodge Rams and other pickup trucks, I'm just thinking to myself, what are you even going to do with the toilet paper? I mean, are you going to build a fort with it? Are you going to supposedly TP the White House or the Statue of Liberty or something like that?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Exactly.
And you know what? I'm just thinking, this is the stuff. It's not so hard to prepare for emergency. It's the stuff you learn in Boy Scouts. And Jesus Christ, man, this is the stuff you probably learn on Sesame Street on how to prepare for an emergency. You know, the non-perishable stuff, blankets, flashlights. And as a matter of fact, there's some online stores that are selling military rations of 6 months worth supply for about $50 to $100.
That's right. Absolutely. So the things that you need are available to you.
Mm-hmm. But it's just how people, just the general public, doesn't seem to know how to prepare for an apocalypse.
Right.
And you know what? That's so far, but overall with my lifestyle, I don't really have to worry much considering that I'm actually in my 20s. I'm going to be turning 25 in a couple months. Is that most people my age, they're ignoring the coronavirus and they're still going after their spring break on Florida. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's actually going off to Florida, and they're saying stuff like, "Oh, if I get corona, then I get corona."
I did see the one guy that said that.
Huh?
I saw the one guy that said that. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Anthony?
I mean, I'm not necessarily against them because at a certain point, you got to get back to life. You can't be so afraid of this virus that you just don't live. You know, be responsible just like any time, but you can't just stop living because, I mean, we could be in the same situation next year. So can we do this every year, hunker down for like a month, 2 months, 3 months? How long are we just going to not live life? I mean, I don't understand.
And someday the people cannot stay in their self-quarantine forever. Someday the people are going to go crazy. The people are going to be desperate to go out. There's going to be civil unrest. like a time bomb that's willing to go off.
That's right. Absolutely.
You're going to get riots out in the streets.
Exactly.
And looting and that sort of stuff. And you know what? I'm just saying is that I'm just here living my life because I'm not a party person because, well, for the most part, I'm actually pretty shy, really, because I just spend most of my time just reading books, catching up on my video games, and trying to catch up on some movies and stuff like that. I just live my life peacefully.
Right.
So it's my peaceful lifestyle. I don't have to worry so much.
Right.
So it's probably a blessing in disguise that I'm a pretty introverted, shy person.
Yeah, maybe it is. You don't have to be worried about all of what's going on right now.
Yeah, and you know what? There's also something else I want to move on. I also want to say about the Marvel comics. Here I am. I actually got to stay with the Marvel comics, I'm just thinking, what are they thinking? And I'm just thinking, all that time, they could probably use it to make a new season of Daredevil.
Yeah, they could.
Hey, I'm curious, Anthony. Have you seen Daredevil yet?
I've not seen it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Well, if people gave you suggestions to watch TV, because I know you said that you're not really a TV person, and I actually looked on your gaming channel, you did other reviews about other media. Would you take into consideration if people suggested it to you?
I would, yeah.
I'm just saying you should probably check out Daredevil, ironically enough, because the Netflix TV shows are actually more mature and yet more darker compared to the theatrical counterparts, which are more geared towards family friendly, which yet in ironic with the fate, they actually take place in the same universe.
Right. That's funny. That's funny how that works.
I'm just here waiting for that, and with all the Marvel comics and other crazy stuff like that. And I'm just thinking maybe they should make a new Ghost Rider. So that's probably what I'm waiting for.
Right.
But anyway, another thing I want to say, speaking of Star Wars, I know I've been going on about Star Wars, but have you actually heard about the Clone Wars series, that they actually brought that back? And even so, have you actually looked into it?
I don't know much about it.
It's actually one of those series. It's a 3D animated show when it actually takes, and it's actually more in depth, and it's actually one of the most well-received shows, and it's actually one of the more well-received shows, and compared to the sequel series, was that basically they decided to bring it back because the fans were basically complaining about when it was canceled, and then basically Disney wanted to bring it back just to hold the fans over. I've seen it, and it's great.
Okay. I gotta check it out.
All right. But you know what? That's pretty much all I gotta say, Anthony. I know I've just been busy with things, but there's just other things I just want to say on my mind. Take care, my friend.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the call. Most certainly appreciate it. Nipping. That's Nico. Thanks, Nico, for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. And that's going to be 740. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Charles from Newark, Ohio.
All right, Charles. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Anthony. First off, I want to say I love your show. Also, I would like to say one quick thing to your viewers. Make sure they got their hand sanitizers, masks, gloves before they use their cell phones or they do any voice-to-text calls, stuff like that. It's always important. Other than that, I wanted to, before I give a briefing on Biden, because a lot of people have been wanting to know where he's at, what he's doing, this and that. He one of his updates that he's talking about in his campaign is, 100 million of Chinese workers could lose their jobs because U.S. workers overtaking manufacturing jobs. It's a big deal.
Oh, well, that's their problem.
Well, yeah, but then the Chinese unemployment line, the circle's going to go around the globe, provoking and causing other future pandemics. And, this is going to be, Trump continues this path of destruction, the war against the bat virus. Okay. Well, okay, let me correct this. It's official. It's called the Chinese Wuhan, quote, bat, unquote, virus.
Okay.
That's the official name. Because you gotta locate it to the final thing. It goes from the bat virus. That's how it got about. But this is a big deal that Biden. Okay, if he is elected, he promises to restore manufacturing back to China that Trump lost day one as president in order to repair and secure the USA's financial borrowing power from China.
That's silly.
China was saying, as early as May 1st, they might not be able to lend money to the USA anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a backwards world we live in there. But everyone already knew that in the DNC they were going to prop up, Biden. Yeah, everybody's kind of read between the lines. I mean, it was pretty obvious all along, but now it's becoming into full fruition. So what happens if we get all these Chinese workers, they lose their jobs to U.S. workers, and then we get a new bill. This is, by the way, this is one of the things Biden was saying in order to supplement China. Maybe the Chinese workers lose their jobs, U.S. bill, U-812 tax. And also the United States would be responsible for more reparations to China, slowly trickling into 2050.
So, I mean, was there a question?
Yes, there was. And
okay, what's the question?
Okay, here's the question with these test kits, all right? It seems to be that you're no longer worried about if everybody has a test. Okay, so you get a test, you get it tested, so we've got, 400 million tests, so we got a little extra for all the Americans. So what happens if you take the test, right, and it's negative, then you got to take the test the next day, and then you got to have a test. How many times can you take the test? How many days can go by? It's not like you're taking a pregnancy test. You see what I'm saying? So somebody says, oh, well, I finally got to take the test. Then what? Oh, you better take it 2 days later. You get my point? It's like it doesn't stop with the hysteria with the media about, well, we don't have enough tests for each American. No, it's no longer about if we have one for each American. It's how many do we do? You got to be tested once a week, once a day.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna answer you. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because you can test somebody, either they have it or they don't. I mean, there's no purpose in testing them like every single day. Like we just got to keep on living our lives and just being clean. The testing, all it does really, it just give you kind of a gauge of maybe the mortality rate, and it might be kind of a semi-inaccurate gauge, but it's better than what we have right now, where most people aren't tested. So that's all I was really going to be able to do. It won't really do too much anything else. But hey, I got a lot of calls on the line. I'm gonna get to a few more. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Could I get one more question?
I got it. I had to get to the next call. I'm sorry. Thank you for the call.
What about?
Sir, listen to me now. Listen to me, sir.
Sorry.
I was being nice. I said I guess. Okay. So thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Good.
All right. Thank you for the call. I'm sorry, but I gotta get to the next call. All right. Don't try to, don't do that. Okay, let's get to the next call. 580, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Kelly from Oklahoma. How are you?
Everything's good. Can't complain about yourself.
Crazy here.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, found out, in spring break is extended by 2 weeks. Our school says we're going back April 6th. We'll see about that.
our personal school district has a lot of wise leaders, and they're going to make decisions 2 weeks at a time. If they have to go 2 more weeks, there are places that are like, okay, school's out, see you next year. Kansas just canceled the rest of the year.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I mean, and it puts parents in the bind because they kind of rely on that. Parents got to work sometimes; they can't always stay home, so it just puts parents in a really weird situation. So I don't know how they're really going to be able to do this. They got to go back to school. That's really the bottom line. And then kids are not learning at school at this particular time. Maybe they're just admitting that you're not learning that much in school anyway.
Well, our state canceled all state testing. And I'm just like, thank God. I believe in achievement tests. But we have come to the point where everything revolves around that test. Nothing happens after spring break. I mean, I'm a 35-year teacher. After spring break, it's about that test. It's about practicing. And if we don't have to take that test, we can relax. And do you know how many millions of dollars our educational system is going to save by not giving those tests? Millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have introverted friends that are like, yeah, I've been waiting on this my whole life. I started a thing on my Facebook. I said, what would you say that we're saying now is like apocalyptic? But it was the norm back in the day. And, I said, back in the day, all the stores closed at 6 o'clock.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people have become accustomed to a certain lifestyle nowadays. You can go to the Walmart at 4 o'clock in the morning in your pajamas. That wasn't the case back in the day.
Yeah. And I mean, there are so many of them. And I've gotten hundreds of comments on it. It's really interesting. And the lady who called a couple of times and saying, well, they say that so-and-so in China and whatever. I'm so curious of who they are. When people say to you, well, they say, I just stop and I say, and who are they? Can you tell me who they are?
Right.
Because most of the time they can't. Because the numbers don't add up. Same thing I've told you. Time and truth walk hand in hand, ABL. And they can't make this be worse than it is. They can only amp up the fear. I'm staying home. I'm going to have my grandkids here, and guess what? We're going to do some schooling. But we're all going to be fine. And if we need to, we'll wash our butt with a cup of water and a rag.
That's right.
So, anyway, in the midst of all this, Donald Trump became the official Republican nominee. That didn't get much airtime.
Well, no, I mean, that's pretty much a far-gone conclusion. We know what's going to happen with that. I don't think Bill Weld or Walsh had a chance at all.
No, they didn't. But it's just interesting. So, well, I wish you well, and I'm holding down the fort in Oklahoma, and I want you to be blessed, my friend.
Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay, good night.
All right, shout out to the caller, most certainly appreciate her. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let me see. We got super chats on deck. I'm going to read some of those. Matter of fact, let me get to the next call before I get to that. 206 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, hold on one sec here. Is this this is Doug E. in Seattle. Is this ABL, the antidote to the fake news?
Yes, it is, man. What's going on?
Yes, it is, my friend. That was the first thing I want to say, man. I'm really proud to be on that list that they made with you. I'm sorry we're not in the same FEMA camp, but if Hillary was elected right now, they'd be enacting that list, man. It's that re-education camp list. And both of us have probably said some things we shouldn't have said. So I would like to apologize if I said anything on your show in the past that got you in trouble. First off.
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, good. All right, cool, man. So then in that case, man, I think the water's making the bats gay. Just playing. Hey, would you rather have Bill Gates sticky with his shaft, or would you rather inoculate with your girl out in Mother Nature?
Whoa. Caller. We got a PG-13 show. What are we doing?
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I grew up, from the other side of the tracks, man. That was another thing I wanted to explain, all right? So last time I called in, I was like, cops are the strong arm of the judges. Look, not all cops, man. Look, it only takes a few beat cops, an inspector, and one judge, man. You know what I mean? So I grew up, though, on, people would be like telling me I'm black, man. I'm white. But I grew up on Kung Fu Theater, just like Wu-Tang Clan, man. We used to sneak out at 2 a.m., watch them on the VHF, on the tune-up, on the black, and you could read, man. It taught us to read, man. But we was practicing ripping our shirts off, and then, basically we was spinning on our heads on cardboard, I guess they should have fluoridated the water a little more or something. But, good old days, man. I grew up wanting to be a blues brother, wanted to be Denzel from American Gangster, wanted to be Goldie, the pimp from the Mac. So, but I like Pantera too, man. You listen to Pantera?
Yeah, I know what they are. I heard some of their stuff back in the day, back in like the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, respect, man. That's a good song, man. That's my favorite. That's my favorite from them. But yeah, man. And to the people who be saying you playing favorites, answer my call, man. I got no life, man. I call you like 1,000 times. It's like busy 990 of the times it just rings into oblivion or it hangs up on you. So I'm always happy when I get through. Prepper tip: get some Beano, man. If you got them beans, man. I don't want you having a Swalwell incident. You know how it goes. You got a classy audience. It's not like Tim Pool, man. Then again, you might be able to steal some subscribers, man. Them skaters think the magical fruit is hilarious. So they all into that kind of thing, man. But yeah, basically, I just kind of wanted to explain that, with the cops thing, man. I'm rooting for cops for the first time in my life, right? You look at the media, man, and that like American Gangster with Denzel, that's a true story, man. When I seen him in Training Day, I'm like, great movie, but fake, man. He would have been gone in that bathtub in real life. That's why Hollywood's kind of fake. But for the last 3 years, since those police died, looking at the Anthony Weiner file, and they let it out, I hope those 9 out of 12 New York PD who were killed for leaking the Weiner file, I hope they're on protective custody, man. I hope Trump hasn't let, the heroes of this whole story, die. And so ever since Trump was elected, man, literally 15 to 20 times as many trafficking arrests. I mean, this man has given the cops the ability to do their job. So, yeah, I feel weird, man. Like I said, man, I grew up, where's your Players Club at, fool? And I got a chance to meet most of those homeboys because I did 30 years in hospitality.
Okay.
When I'm myself, I'm a little bit more down to earth, but I clean up pretty good. And, just like Trump, man, I wanted to dedicate myself to helping others. And so that's just me, like Ben Affleck says we're all sinners, right? Yeah, man, I laugh, man, because if he actually believed in God, if he really believed that God was standing there looking at him and looking into his soul and his feelings and his emotions when he said that, dude, he wouldn't have said it, dude, because he knows it's a cop-out, so anyways, people, they grow up, they go through stages, and yeah, man, that's what the world's doing right now. Trump's going to have to print into infinity because all the banks around the world are printing into infinity, right? And so if they print to infinity, American dollars will be so valuable that they'll basically own the United States. 2/3 of all the American dollars are outside of the country. So he didn't really have a choice. He got to print to infinity, So, I mean, my thing is, show me the money. I love yours, man. Show me the money, man. But because I'm glad to see it's not just going, one little bit. And if he's going to print it, man, he might as well just print it. And that's the last time you'll hear me do Jerry Maguire, And that guy hangs out at the Abbey, pervert. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. But yeah, basically, man, we're going to find out who Q is. If this whole thing, ends up there's no arrests in public view, it doesn't matter if Q's real or not. So the time is now. And there's 2 trains of thought, and I just got the popcorn, man. I'm like, let's see what happens, And, I just wanted to call you, and I wanted to tell you that just because I'm not friends with Mark or Susan, or Sergey, or Jack, man, I'll always be your friend, ABL, as long as you keep it real. All right?
No doubt, man. Thank you for the call. Most certainly appreciate you.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Thank you for calling, and thank you to everybody that's in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Like the video if you're not liked it already. Share it if you're not shared it already. And I'm going to get to a few more calls here before we wrap the show on up. Put a bow on the top. Let me see here. All right, calling in the line, 857, who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Dr. Logan.
I'm not a doctor, but my name is Logan. What's going on?
Because you said that the malaria medication stopped the virus. You said it like half an hour ago.
So what did I say? Hold on. What did I say?
You said that the malaria medication stopped the virus, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything about it. A caller said it. And
the caller said, and then you repeated what the caller said.
What did I say?
That the medication stopped the virus.
No, I didn't. I don't know anything about that, so I wouldn't say that.
Okay, it's not true. Just for the record, the caller, everybody, it's not true.
How you know it's not true?
No evidence of that.
How you know it's not true?
Why you didn't tell the caller that was not true then?
I don't know if it is or it isn't. So how do you know it's not?
You just said it. You just told me it's not true.
No, I didn't. I said I did not say that. So you gotta start being quiet. You got to start being quiet and starting to listen. What I said was I did not say that. I didn't say I said it wasn't true. I don't know if it's true or false. That's why I didn't speak on it. But go ahead and say what you got to say.
Okay. So it's not true. It's the medication, what Dr. Fauci said. That's what Trump said. That we are already working. No, it's not true.
The question I had for you was, how do you know it's not true?
Because that's what Dr. Fauci said. I'm gonna quote what he said.
So he said. So wait a minute. He said that the medication does not work for the virus.
There's no evidence of that. That's what he said.
So did he say, sir? Listen to me now. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, sir. Okay. Did he say that the medication does not work for the virus? Yes or no?
No, not for the malaria medication alone.
He said. So did he say that it does not? He said it doesn't, or he said it.
He said that there's malaria medication, and you could give the HIV medication for respiratory problems. He said if we mix them, this they call on-label medication. If we mix them, could be a possibility that could fight the infection could fight for the respiratory infection. But there's nothing that tackles the coronavirus itself. That's what he said, and he said that. All this, you cannot just give it to anyone. Gotta be in base of the last resort. In other words, if somebody's dying, that the person that is sick, their health is declining, you give them this medication as the last resort. That's not as a general situation. He say as a last resort. He say, well, you dying, then just they might as well give him that. That's not what because Trump doesn't understand nothing what they're telling him. They said one thing even 3 minutes before or 2 minutes, and he come and said totally opposite what Dr. Fauci said. He has no understanding. I don't listen to him at all. It's just like when Trump is talking, I'm going to get my popcorn and my soda and start laughing.
Okay, are you like real close to your phone because you're like really jumbled up right now?
No, I'm close to my phone.
Yeah, give a little bit of room, little breathing room for your phone. Give a little, little distance. You there?
Can you hear me now?
It's the same, but go ahead. You probably got an earpiece.
So pretty much what he keeps saying is just not true. There's no medication, and when you say, well, what we have to lose, that's not what Dr. Fauci said. The medication can be given only in a situation that your health is declining. If your health is declining.
So if it doesn't work, why would you give it to somebody?
Because could tackle the respiratory problems.
What's the point of giving it to somebody if it doesn't work?
No, that's not what
So does it work or does it not work? Sir, listen to what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Does it work or does it not? If it does work, then that's why you would give it to somebody. Okay. If it does not, sir, I'm not done talking. If it does not work, then you wouldn't give it to somebody. It don't make no sense. It's like saying, oh, give a person some dog food for the thing if they're dying. That doesn't make any sense. You give somebody something if it actually will have some kind of effectiveness.
I think you have like a Trump problem. Let me explain to you again. He said you mix the medication for malaria with HIV medication. They got an own label. Doesn't have a title. Doesn't have anything. You giving these two medications, this mix, to a person that his health is declining. In order to save that person's life, the doctor decides.
So it does work.
So it works. I mean,
all right then. So if it works, what's the problem?
But it's not like I prevent you. You cannot use that medication as somebody comes with the virus and give that medication to that person. That's not what it's for.
Why not?
That's not what Dr. Fauci said.
Why would you not give it to somebody? So why not?
Because you cannot give this medication to the person that is sick as a general. It's not like
But no, the question, sir, listen to me. Sir, listen. The question was like you gotta stop talking. Stop talking. The question was why can't you give it to somebody in general?
Because we have some serious side effects and we could kill that person.
What are the side effects? What are the side effects?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm just giving you.
So how do you know the side effects if you don't? How can you say the side effects if you don't know what they are?
Because that's what Dr. Fauci said. We don't have no data. We don't have no data on how the medication will work. But he said, in base of the previous data in other medication, like somebody get HIV, right, and then you get a pneumonia, and then the pneumonia from the problem with HIV track your respiratory whatever. That's what he said. So pretty much it's similar. So they could mix two medication and say, hey, this might work for that condition if it gets worsening for that person. Now, that would be up to the doctor to make that decision. It's not like, or let's say, I got the coronavirus. Hey, Ivan, take this. No, that's not what he said, but that's what Trump is saying.
Okay, that's nice.
The guy is very frustrated with this president.
You got to wrap it up here because your phone is like, I don't know.
That's all what I wanted to say. That's all what I wanted to say.
Okay, yeah, your phone is kind of messed up because it's like you kind of like really the audio is kind of jumbled. Are you wearing the earpiece?
No, I don't have a. Hello, can you hear me now?
It's the same. Do you have one of the earpiece or something?
No, I don't have any of those earpieces.
I don't know, man. You got the Obama phone. Put some minutes on that Obama phone, man. Tighten up.
I just wanted to say that. So please listen to Dr. Fauci. Don't listen to Trump. That's what my recommendation is.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Listen to the president. Huh?
I said thank you for the call.
All right.
I know. All right. Shout out to Ivan for the call. But that phone, I don't know, man. You got to just, I don't know if you if you got the phone like right here, I don't know what's going on. If the phone is like right in your nose or what, man, but you got to tighten up, man. Get that together. Let's get to the next call here. 434, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. This is Jonathan from Virginia.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, not much. I think I called in last week, just gave a little, props with the love, and I'm going to do it again, man. You doing it right. Always going to give that to you. So my main call today is kind of a follow-up of what I did last week, since the whole corona thing's still going on strong. Just out of curiosity, have you now at this point with your connections known anybody that's ever gotten the coronavirus?
No.
All right. Me either. But I will tell you that today in my hometown city, I got an alert today that said the first person has been tested and confirmed with the coronavirus. So anyway, I'm just curious, with it kind of being a more, I guess, a higher amount of spread than maybe I thought it would be at the originality. I'm curious what you think about how, like, New York's rates are going up super quick, obviously very populated, but the overall conditions of some of these people that actually are willing to share their conditions with the shallow breathing, kind of pneumonia-like kind of symptoms. I'm just curious, like, obviously it ain't crazy, but the government wants to make you think it's crazy. So I'm curious your opinion on how much does this weigh towards the health side and how much does this weigh towards maybe a crackdown from state governments and governments that want to actually have more control?
I think it's both. I think they are trying to contain the health, part of it and not have the hospitals be overwhelmed. And they're trying to help people get better if they are able to. Not sure if they can at this point, but I think the health is a part of it, but I also think they want control. I mean, because that's been a thing in New York, the whole gun control thing, and maybe some of the crime that can be a part. I saw an article today that said that the crime was down in New York, so maybe they're proud about that. So I think it's a mixture of both. I think what's happening is that they have to do certain things, or they are able to do certain things and taking advantage of that to gain more control that they may want to have even after the whole thing is over with.
Kind of don't let a crisis go to waste thing.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, honestly, that sounds very reasonable. Now, I will admit that I personally, as of this past week, since I called you last, have taken more precautions on thinking about touching my face, going out and about. Now, granted, where I live, thankfully, we're not getting any of the crazy lockdowns or anything, so still have a lot of freedom. In fact, just went out today and bought some stuff to help remodel my bathroom that I've been involved with for less than a month here. And so, able to go out to Lowe's and get the things I need, which is great. And, you see people with masks and whatnot. And so people are taking it serious, trying to be the 6 feet apart or whatnot. But personally, I really do think that the social distancing thing is not necessarily bad for some situation like this, because let's say it's not like life-threatening, of course, but let's say that it is very contagious. Well, at that point, I think people being in the mindset of social distancing is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, thinking of your hygiene, I think we spoke about that last time, people thinking about it for the first time, kind of funny, but at the same time, maybe a little bit of awareness coming upon them. And not to take up too much of your time here, but I think it's not necessarily a bad thing unless the government taking that crisis and not taking advantage of it and then pulling some powers away from the people and not allowing us to be as free with our freedoms and liberties. I think that's the main thing we need to be thinking about right now.
That's a very good point. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on, Anthony. Good talking to you again. Like I said, won't take up too much of your time. Just wanted to kind of throw those thoughts out at you and kind of get your personal opinion. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Keep keeping on, brother.
Thank you, man. All right, now.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him, and thank you all for being here. That'll be a wrap for the callers right there. You guys have been a great audience tonight, as always. If you were not able to get on, I'm sorry, but the lines were jumping tonight. We got super chats to read, and then I wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. Shout out to, hold on, let me just make sure I'm good here. Let me refresh my browser window. We had a few trolls tonight, but the moderators did a good job keeping everybody in line. Thank you to all the moderators. We got Michelle A. We got Liza Jean. We got Shreves. We got Protocol. We have Bill from the Hills. We have Killer 699. We got everybody in the building making sure them trolls get up out of here. But super chats we got. Let me get to those right quick. Let me see. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says, ABL, people like that man who was hitting on black Trump supporters have no relevance. That guy compound saying, did you hear about people buying guns in New Jersey and California and the issues they had? Yeah, we're talking about that earlier with Snap Turtle, because people were buying guns for the first time and they didn't realize, hey, you got to wait 10 days to get the gun. You got to pass a background check. I thought I could just buy a gun online and get it shipped to my house on Amazon. No, that's not how that works. See, people like that are uninformed, and then they tend to vote on these liberal issues. That's what I was saying when I did that video with Jubilee, which will be coming out pretty soon. When they had like the little phone interview with me before I came to LA, the person was asking me, about being black and conservative and why others don't really understand it. Like, people are just misinformed. They don't know a lot of information, which is why they think certain things or why they think the way they think. And a lot of the liberals that are against guns think you could just go on Amazon and get a fully automatic weapon sent to your front door. That's not how that works. And then when they want to go out there and get it because they're scared now, they realize, oh, it's a waiting period. Oh, I got to do a background check. Oh, I can't pass the background check. Just like the guy, I did a video on my channel some years ago where it was this liberal reporter guy trying to prove a point, trying to just go get a gun, thought it was going to be easy, couldn't even pass the background check and was denied the weapon. You see, once you understand these things, once you get the information, then you change your mind. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Mr. Wombat. Let me take these headphones off. Who says, I'd much rather donate my $27 to a more just cause instead of Bernie's fight against frozen butter from the Hilton. Keep up the great work. And thank you for your donation, man. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to my man, speaking to the devil, not the devil, good dude, Snapzilla Gorilla, who says, yo, ABL, I still believe you're a genuine cat. Keep it the critical thinking, like not wanting to get vaxxed, and you'll be a more powerful dynamo. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. I try to just stay true to myself. People might not always like my point of view, but I'm gonna stay true to myself always. And I think people can appreciate me being just myself always. Thank you to Crush Groovin, who says, sorry I missed the show again. Bless us, informed patriots. Hey, thank you for your support, man. Most certainly appreciate you. Hope you enjoy the rewatch if you do that. If you want to hear the rewatch, anybody out there, or the repeat, the restream on an audio platform only, there is link in the description box. This show will be available on Monday morning, I think right around 10 a.m. Eastern time. I put that out there for you guys so you can listen to the whole thing through the audio platform of your choice, whether that be Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is, you got it over there. Anchor, of course. And who else? Thank you to Bolt Like a Leopard, who says, please use Streamlabs Super Chat for donations. I'm gonna look into that. I've been hearing about that for a while. I'm gonna see if I can set it up and what is going on with it. So thank you for that, man. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Joyce for your donation of $27. I appreciate you. I like that number. Thank you to Say Hi, who says, Okie Mexicans for Trump. Thank you for that, man. Most certainly appreciate you. And shout out to Oklahoma and the Mexicans out there voting for Trump. Shout out to Charles Turner Jr., who says, do you believe President Trump can flip a blue state like New Jersey this year, especially after so many people have been trying to ban guns there? Well, it depends on the situation. You know, if more people are starting to realize, like through this kerfuffle right here, that they can't get the guns when they want, they can't protect themselves when they want, when their liberal governor is shutting stuff down, making them lose their jobs, maybe they can flip it. Is Christie, who's the governor right now in Jersey? Is it Christie? Who's there now? But thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Say Hi, who says, Menudo is racist. This Mexican loves Trump. 2020, baby. Godspeed, ABL. Keep up the good fight with the peace sign. Thank you for that, man. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Tony Smith, who says, what's up with CNN running a live tally like it's election night? Speaking about the coronavirus deaths, I noticed that. I'm enjoying your podcast. Thumbs up. Thank you for that, man. Most certainly appreciate you. And I have seen that. It's like a little stock market ticker. Oh, the death went up by 1 and 2. It's like, what's really going on here? Are we rooting for this? Is it like horse betting? What's going on? I'm not a fan of it. And that's just driving the hysteria. People are tuned into their phones 24/7. But that might be the whole thing, to get people to really be tuned into CNN, because nobody was watching before this 24/7 virus outrage coverage. But thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Keller Ranch for your donation with the thumbs up emoji dancing. I appreciate you for that. All right. That'll be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here. It's been a good show. Again, this show will be available on the audio streaming platform of your choice, whether it be Stitcher, Anchor, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, whatever you want. It'll be available Monday morning. And the Wednesday won't be available Friday morning. I'm going to stick to that schedule. I'm going to do that all the time. That's all I got for now. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.